And welcome to another Nerdy Collective. Hello, YouTube community. Thank you for being here. And now that I got you, bam. So welcome everybody. I wanted to say thank you everybody in the chat. Much appreciate it. Much love you guys. And so I got a special guest tonight. I think you're gonna love. I love this guy. I bought a few books from him. He does a lot of auctions. He's got brains and he's got a beautiful voice. If you ever listen to him late at night too, as well, it's pretty good. You got to watch. Okay, nuclear physicist. At the same time, he's also a freaking wonderful collector. He gets us. He gets us nerds. So without further ado, here we go. Sanimation and everybody in the chat, thank you so much, you guys. Here we go. Boom.
Welcome, folks, to the Nerdy Collective show. It's my privilege to be here tonight, and I'm really happy and appreciative to be invited, and we'll try to have some fun tonight. I do have
Absolutely.
one minor correction to make.
What's
It's
that?
nuclear engineer, not physicist.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, we actually consider physicists a step down.
Yeah, I know.
Because you have to have a you have to have a license to be an engineer.
That's why I asked that question. Yeah, smart. See? I love it. Love it. Thank you for being here, brother. Appreciate it. Everybody in the chat, if you got questions, please ask them in the chat. I want to get my other co-hosts on here, and we'll get this party started. So, without further ado, here we go.
What's going on, guys?
How you doing, buddy? Thanks for being here.
Not bad, not bad.
Awesome.
Howdy.
Okay. Here we go.
I made it on time too, so
yes.
What up, peeps? Welcome to another Nerdy Collective show.
Thank you, buddy. Here we go.
Good to see
Wham.
you right here.
Yes. Roman.
Hello?
Hey, how you doing, buddy? Just checking in.
Fine. Okay, hold on. Here I come. I
Okay.
was typing something out.
That's all right.
I was typing something out. Hello. How's everybody doing? All that good stuff. How
Awesome.
you doing?
Okay.
I'm here. I made
Good.
it.
Excellent.
I just
I'm
know
going
the
next.
time on the clock, so I'm a little late, but I made it.
It's all good, brother. You're all good.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
My
Boom.
clock is like super fast or something, super
Yep,
slow.
here we go.
Super slow.
Welcome, everybody. Hello to the chat, and the foreigner is here.
Thank you, buddy. Okay, and without further ado, here we go.
Hello, YouTubians! Man, I've been working myself to the bone this week, man. Tell you what, I am so glad it's Saturday and another episode of Nerdy Collective. Woo! It's a little
You're
cold.
awesome, buddy. Thank you. Okay. Oh, so Matty Freeze in the house. Yo, in the gallery. Thank you for being here. Get caught up with the chat really quick. Boom, you guys are awesome. We got Pocan Joe in the house as well. Awesome. There's another guy that works in his garage and makes really cool stuff with his hands. Awesome. Boom. Paulo, thank you for being here. Christina, thank you so much. Archivist is in the house. Yeah, what is up, my buddy? And hold on, let's get caught up. We got Tylox in the house. We have K-pop in the house. Kyle from New Zealand. Yes. How you doing, buddy? Great video. I seen it today. Excellent. Love the room tour.
Welcome.
Love the room tour. Pocan Joe, my brother. Oh my goodness. Nice to see you, man. Thank you for being here. Carolina 26, as always. Make sure you're checking him out on Twitch. And he does a couple other streams too. He's doing a lot of video game streams. Awesome stuff. So make sure you guys go check him out. And
Chaz Freeze too. Chaz Freeze is doing a bunch of video games.
Matty Freeze, yeah, I've seen a couple of your videos. Matty Freeze did one. He actually did a movie video review with his buddies on there. That was pretty good.
And Chaz is doing it too, his brother.
Yeah.
Video games.
Big shout out to you guys. Thanks. Well, the chat's still just chucking away. I'm trying to get caught up with it here. Hold on. Thank you, guys. We got Sleepy Readers in the house as well. Yo, what is up? Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Awesome. All right, I think we're caught up now. Is Puff in the house?
He probably is. He's probably down there somewhere.
I'm sleeping. Oh, you got the crew in the house. Yo, you guys. Their links are down below as well. Make sure you check them out. They had a great show. They're doing Black History Month. It's excellent. Excellent show, you guys. Good stuff. Barbarian, thank you for being here, brother. Appreciate it. There we go. Yes, absolutely. Thank you, guys. All right, gentlemen. Get those up. There we go. Boom. Big thank you. So, Mr. Edwin, thank you for being at the Nerdy Collector tonight. And you know, I'm a big fan of you on the auctions. I watch you on the auctions, but there's a lot more to you as well. And that's what's interesting to me. And I think you get us nerd culture all in one shot. And you're also a nuclear. What did you say it was?
Engineer.
There we go.
I'm actually retired, but I still have an active license, and I can do consulting whenever I want to. But until I have to,
Excellent.
I'm staying retired.
Yep. And big shout out to your wife for letting you stay up late with us. So I appreciate that. So give her a big thank you from us.
Thank you.
Okay, gentlemen, who would like to start out with the question before we get into books or talking about comic books or anything like that?
All right, so
Edwin, who wants to start?
I'll start off, Mr. Price. So how in the world does one become a nuclear engineer?
Well, you know, long about 1965, when I was like in the second grade, I picked up a comic book called Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Read about a guy that got bitten by a radioactive spider, which got me interested in everything atomic and nuclear. And I was also interested in, you know, the space program was in full bore back then, you know, for the moon shoot and everything. So I got, like I said, I got interested in nuclear, and I never really lost a interest in it. So I made the choice after doing my first 2 years I was pre-science, and I decided to go pre-engineer. Go engineering, and when they, you know, we looked at the disciplines, you know, civil, electrical, mechanical, so on and so forth. And I found that, you know, hey, I'm still interested in this nuclear stuff. So that's how I got into North Carolina State University, and got my degree there. And,
Wolfpack.
Yeah,
Wolfpack. And and you know, we were pretty good back then. I mean, you know, I was there when we, in '83, you know, when we won the championship at the late Jim Valvano. But and we had won a championship back in '74 too. So we actually have 2 championships in basketball. But NC State was the only place in North Carolina that had a nuclear program, and there wasn't one in South Carolina. And you know, I was able to get in-state tuition and stuff, which expenses are laughable compared to nowadays. But they got me educated, let's say, and then.
Were you in the Navy? Were you in the Navy, Mr. Price?
I worked for the Navy as a naval nuclear engineer. So I was actually on the naval base, and it was a long time ago, because it was, you might remember, you might not, but we had a naval base at Charleston for about 70 years or whatever.
Right.
And so, yeah, at that time we were working on nuclear subs, mostly 637 class, and we also worked on the ballistic missile subs that they had at the time. But a lot of these subs were the ones from the early to mid 60s and stuff. They were quite advanced, but you know, we were doing repair and rebuild and refuel So yeah, I worked with. It was just like I was in the Navy, except I went home at night, and
So I
the
have something really curious.
officers I worked with, the
It's in the
officers I
front of my
worked
brain
with
right now.
stayed on base. Most of them.
So talking about that, so us nerds and movie culture as well out there, how accurate or what was messed up with the films like well, Sean Connery, you guys, The Hunt for Red October, and there's a bunch of submarine nuclear ships in those particular movies. How accurate were they in the movies?
Well, a lot of that stuff is classified,
Right.
But they have released more, and we're talking kind of older. My knowledge is, like I said, the new boats they've got out nowadays, I don't know what they have changed on them. But back then, and it has been declassified, most of our boats used what they called an S5W reactor, which is what the Westinghouse is what the W mean, and it had an S3G core, and that was a General Electric core, and they used that in virtually all the boats from the 50s up through the 60s and 70s. And like I said, I'm not sure exactly what they're using nowadays, but it was a marvelous little design reactor that's quite powerful. And a lot of that stuff, I've seen that movie several times. I went to see it at the theater. I love submarine movies, but a lot of it was quite accurate. Those fast attack submarines are just that. They're much faster than the big boomers like the October was.
And the quietness of them? How about the quiet and the stealthiness of them?
Yes, that was one advantage we had over the Soviets at the time, was we had a much better design for that, a much better propeller design, and our ships had a single propeller, and they were quieter, and it was harder to pick those up. And the design of our propeller, we used to keep tarps over them when they were in the dry docks to keep the satellites from taking pictures of them. But we had that advantage.
Okay,
and
awesome.
We have a lot of well, it's like I said, we had these were older boats, but they were powered, nuclear powered. They were really advanced for the time, and it was fun to work on them. They get a little tight in some places, but yeah, I used to go in the morning, and we worked usually 8 or 12-hour shifts, and the officers, a lot of them worked 24-hour shifts, so they'd be 24 on and 24 off. And during testing and stuff, the engineers would typically be 12-hour shifts. So we worked very closely with them, and I used to brief the ship's crew, the captain, the exec, and the chiefs. And
so talking all about all that, it's funny because Joey Bags of Seven in the house, he's sitting there saying, Edwin, have you discovered cold fusion? We were just talking about that before the show. That's why I'm keeping it up there. That's awesome.
Well, I guess that's a good segue away from boats, but yeah, cold fusion has been in the
his opinion on it. Yep,
has been in the news recently, but we got bluffed big time back in 1988. There were a couple of guys that claimed they had cold fusion, but they were never able to replicate it, and neither were any other scientists. And as I was telling the guys, yes, I watched the Secretary of Energy talk about it and everything, and in fact, they were able to produce more heat than they input into the fusion blob, whatever you want to call it, which is basically tritium, hydrogen, and they were able to get like 1.5 watts out more than they put in, which was the first time fusion heat had been generated outside of a thermonuclear weapon, which we know worked pretty good. But the problem remains that in order to do that, in order to focus that laser in on that blob of material to start a fusion event, it took 100 times the energy to do that we got back. And I noticed that the secretary didn't say anything about that. So
yeah, I noticed that too.
that's got to be resolved before there's any real progress. And to be honest with you, I doubt that I will live to see any fusion other than what we've seen with explosives and what operates the sun. But that's my take on it.
Sure. Awesome. Barry, thanks for being here.
And then you asked me, all right, from the bulk of my career in nuclear, I spent at nuclear power plants because I left working for the Navy and went to work for Duke Energy, which kept expanding and expanding and expanding. And by the time I retired in 2019, we had 11 reactors. And I worked out of the general office in Charlotte, so I went to all of them.
Wow.
For various reasons. And that's where I spent 3 or more decades working, climbing around power plants and doing the office work, the calcs and root cause evaluations and that kind of stuff.
So did it pay well? I've had that question asked a couple times.
I'm not complaining at all. It paid better than working on the submarines because the government was a little stingy with the. But yes, as long as the company was successful, a lot of our pay came in the form of incentives. So if we did well and performed well, we made pretty good. Of course, most of the people that worked like that felt like we deserved it because we were always on call, always switching back and forth, working night shift and, just everything under the sun. Traveling. I mean, I traveled everywhere, to about every plant around because we shared information with other plants. But that's the nuclear part. But in between all this, I found time to own and help run 2 pretty large comic shops for over 25 years.
There you go. Okay, and, getting on that. We got a question from the chat.
Okay.
It says Matty Freeze is asking, I want to know, is there any modern books that Edwin is into? And if so, which ones?
I'll be honest with you, Mr. Freeze. No.
Look at
That's not
Monty's like, of course, he's like thumbs up on that.
That's not a new thing with me. I mean, we knew when we started. My son helped me start the first store, and of course, we had to have new comics. And I just was, like I said, I'd be sitting reading the back issues and stuff while people were buying the new comics and coming and getting their subscription.
So did we, actually, man.
And but no, I'm sort of a purist. I was stuck in the past because, like I said, I started reading them when I could barely read. And I have great memories of walking in the local sundry shop as a little kid, and my dad going in to buy Western books, which he loved, and me picking up a couple comics for 12 cents a piece. And I actually remembered the stories from many of them. And that was a privilege. And so I just stuck with it. I read a lot of comics today, but guess what? They're from like the 50s up through maybe 1982 or whatever.
Beautiful.
So that's just one man's opinion. I mean, there are people that would kill for their new comics. I mean, we had some people who literally subscribed to every new book. And
that's more than one man's opinion. On this panel, it's 2 men's opinion.
Okay.
It's 3.
Because I'm the same way.
Well, I can't say completely that I don't buy some new stuff because I do, but I prefer the old.
But yeah, I would sit there in the stores occasionally. I'd be in the office and like I said, all those brand new books sitting out front. And I mean, I remember one time I walked by and saw one that had Ant-Man on, and I said, "They brought Ant-Man back," and I had I had to grab that one and take a look at it, and it wasn't quite what I hoped for. And,
I'm sorry.
then there was one they did a very short series on Metal Men, and I always loved DC's Metal Men. And I remember reading it too, and nah, it didn't do it for me. And then the Walking Dead thing started up in the 2000s. I guess it was late 2000s, and
Right.
issue 1 and all of them sat there, and I never even cracked one open. So
Yep.
that's kind of where I am. I'm an old style purist guy with comics.
All right, so let me ask you this: being a nuclear engineer and having, I'm sure toxic waste is actually a real deal thing. Could we actually have an actual toxic Avenger? Could it happen?
I'll be honest with you. You never really know what is going to happen with radiation. I mean, theoretically, our bodies are made out of cells. If you expose the cell to ionizing radiation, let's see if I can remember this. It's been a while since I had to pass a test, but there's 4 things that can happen to the cell. You expose it to radiation. 1 is nothing. Sometimes nothing happens to them. 2 is it's damaged. 3 is it's damaged so bad that it dies. And 4 is that it mutates.
Yep.
So there is, that's the basis for a lot of our superheroes or whatever is the unknown effects of radioactivity. I mean, Hulk, Spider-Man.
Yep.
You know that gamma radiation will turn you green.
So another question from Joey here. He says, what do you think about containing nuclear power plants?
About containing a nuclear
That's all he said. Yep. How does one go about containing a nuclear power plant? There, I answered your question.
It's very it's really kind of rudimentary. I mean, you've got a nuclear reactor which you have to keep to keep coolant going to, and they're encased inside a 3-foot thick, 150-foot tall concrete and rebar structure with special dense concrete, and they also have all the piping and stuff is made out of the primary system piping's made out of stainless steel and Inconel, the best you can get, welded by professionals and x-rayed a dozen times over, and down to the fuel rods, which is the first radioactive containment barrier. They can survive heat up to a couple thousand degrees before they start to before they start any melting or anything like that. And a typical nuclear power plant operates at a temperature of around 550 degrees and steam pressure of coolant pressure of around 2,100 pounds. And that's the pressurized water reactor. We do have some in this country. About a third of the reactors are boiling water reactors, and they are just what it says. They just basically use the reactor to boil water, flashes to steam, goes up, turns the turbine, generates electricity. One's a closed system, one's an open system, but it is well contained. You have those 3 fission product barriers to keep anything from getting out. Now, when you hear about waste, the vast amount of waste that comes from a power plant is paper products, cloth, things that people use to carry when they go in a contaminated area. That's low level waste, which, you could have a waste dump like that right next door and you'd never know it.
Wow.
The high level waste is the spent nuclear fuel, which was supposed to have, when a lot of the plants were originally built, the Nuclear Waste Policy Act of 1982 required that the U.S. government take title to all that stuff by December December 31st, 1998. They didn't. So all plants are forced to store the spent fuel, which could be reprocessed, reused. That's what the French do. And instead, we just store it. But we do have very safe methods of storing, and that's not really a problem. We were also supposed to centralize all storage of all the waste material in Yucca Mountain in Nevada, which is about 90 miles outside of Las Vegas, in an area that looks like the surface of Mars.
Area 51-ish.
It's not far, but I have been out there before, and we created a giant facility out there to store spent fuel in, and because of politics, we haven't gotten a single fuel rod out there. But
there's a big storage depot down in southeast Texas down here, out in the middle of nowhere, north of Midland, back over in there in El Paso.
Yep.
And there's a big, huge one out there. You can't go nowhere around that. The roads just completely just stop, and gates, and
it's best to stay out. I mean, it's best to stay out. I mean, our nearest one's Barnwell, South Carolina. That's where mostly the low-level stuff is stored. Right. And again, that's not just from nuclear power plants. That comes from hospitals, research facilities, cancer facilities, dentist office. You know, that's where the lower-level waste is stored. But our nuclear waste is a big problem. It costs a lot of money. That's one of the big costs of nuclear power. But the payback on nuclear power is our reactors. Some of them, we expect them to last 80 years or more, and they produce power with no greenhouse gas effects whatsoever. And in the entire industry in this country, we operated 100 reactors at one time. I think we're still pretty close to that. There has never been a single person die from radiation. Not a single record of that. Now, there have been people killed at power plants. That was typical pipes, steam pipes blowing up and things like that, electrocutions and stuff. But we have no one on record having died. And there's no industry I know that can say that. So
I know. There's plenty of people.
I'm content to live. I live right over here at Lake Norman. I live about 6 miles as the crows fly from McGuire Nuclear Station, which is a huge 2-unit nuclear power plant that went in service in 1981, and I'm sleeping like a baby. So,
okay. Well, I'm curious about other alternative energy sources. So we've got hydroelectric power. We've got windmills. There's all kinds of other different natural ways we could do it, and it's amazing to me that we're still actually using coal in this country.
Well,
what are your thoughts on that?
Let me tell you about that. Here's the problem. We're still using coal and natural gas and even oil in some cases because those renewable sources, we don't have the technology for them to produce. Right now, with all the windmills that have been built, with all the solar power facilities that have been built, with all the hydroelectric that we've got and everything, they don't produce 5% of our electricity.
Wow.
And also what y'all guys need to understand is when you make that electricity at those plants and you ship it down your wire lines, you have a lossage.
You sure
you have a lossage of electricity, a great amount of lossage. The further you pop it down that wire, the more lossage. So by the time it gets to the station,
exactly,
huge amount.
That's why we can't send electricity. I'm from the southeast, and we're in pretty good shape down here because, like I said, we built a lot of nuclear fossil stations, and we have dams, and like I said, we've invested in windmills and solar and everything. But we can't send power to California that badly needs it because,
Nope.
like you said, the line losses make it just a folly to try to do that. So that's why California is experiencing so many brownouts and forced outages and stuff
I've been there,
nowadays
done that.
because they shut down 3 nuclear stations and paid one other one to shut early, and then they had to go back and ask them to stay open.
That's the one that was on the fault line.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
Diablo Canyon. Yes.
Yep.
They had to go back and ask them to stay open, or there would have been constant brownouts. And
if there ever's an earthquake on that fault line, they're not going to be able to contain it.
Well, no, if there's ever an earthquake that can demolish a nuclear power plant, we won't be worried about the power plant. Because a nuclear power plant is the most robust structure on the face of the earth. They have every seismic contingency. You wouldn't believe the things that were in the shock absorbers, the gigantic coils, the hangers, the steel reinforcements, the concrete. I mean, like I said, an earthquake that takes out one of those, it'll kill far more people than anything the power plant would do.
Mr. Price, hold on for 1 second, guys. Sorry, I'm gonna get to the chat really quick. Sleepy Reader 66 is asking a question. What percentage of our power do we get from nuclear at this point?
About 20%.
There you go, Sleepy Reader.
And that's only 100 operating reactors for a country the size of ours, and we can get 20% from 100 reactors with 350 million people. So that's pretty.
So fossil fuels we're still so reliant on because we found no better way to do this.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, if you took away the fossil, natural gas, coal, oil, you'd be sunk to 60% or better of our generating capacity, better than 60%.
You have to understand that the coal industry, the coal power plants, the scrubbers that they have now are a lot more efficient than they used to be back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. I mean, there is very little emissions. The only thing in that movie that come out, what's her name, Brockovich. The reason that water was contaminated is because they was using benzenes in the as a cleaning fluid that got mixed into the water, and they wasn't lining the pools with plastic lining, and it seeped into the groundwater. But they don't use that chemical no more.
Right. We spent. I know the company that I work for spent $1 billion taking down the smokestacks and putting up scrubbers at a plant that's roughly 10 miles from where I live. And what you see coming out, this huge stack now, they replaced it with one huge one that puts everything together and scrubs it. What you see coming out is virtually 99.9% carbon dioxide and water.
Right.
The plants love the carbon dioxide.
We have one of the cleanest burning coal plants in the United States, in the world. I mean, the EPA is so strict on us, but yet they're not strict on all these other certain countries around here. So we get held to a strict standard, but yet we get talked about all the time. And that's something that's not out there.
Well, that's the biggest problem, though.
Nobody mentions the fact that Red China right now is putting online approximately 2 fossil stations per month, and we're shutting them down. And they're also, Westinghouse Nuclear would be out of business if it wasn't for Red China. Mm-hmm. They're building plants in Red China left and right, nuclear plants. So
this is what Barbarian was asking. So how bad did China have to screw up to cause the meltdown they had?
Who had a meltdown? I'm sorry.
China.
There was an accident. I mean, there was an accident after the tsunami in Japan.
Yeah, and Chernobyl, Japan's only 2 instead of what?
Yeah, I'm not aware of China.
3 Mile Island.
I'm not aware of China having an accident. The again, you go back to cause and effect. It's been about 12 years ago. Japan had that tsunami hit, and it was a beyond design basis event, and it did wreck a couple nuclear reactors. But once again, the only person that actually died as a result died of a heart attack from working too hard. And they did dump. Japan did dump some water into contaminated water into the ocean, but that is, believe me, that is nothing new from. We set off bombs in the ocean. We set off nuclear bombs there, but no, that was Japan, and everybody was concerned. I remember I was on Facebook back at that time. It was before I got smart and gave up Facebook. Once that the media got a hold of that and said that Fukushima plant, the reactors are damaged. I was getting literally hundreds of questions from people. Oh my God, what do we do? Is it going to get us? Do we need to get some potassium iodide and take it? And I said, if you want to die. I said it's not going to bother us, and it hasn't. And
I think the only meltdown they had was Chernobyl. Chernobyl is the ones that they let it.
Yes, exactly. Chernobyl was the biggest disaster. I hope that we'll never have anything like that again.
That was horrible.
But that was, that was clearly Russian negligence on that. They didn't have any of these. That on Chernobyl, they didn't have any of these big, robust containment buildings.
See, the problem with Chernobyl was the Russians don't have buttons; they have switches. I'm telling you, that's a true fact.
Well, I'm still waiting for the machines to take over. When they do, just be nice to them now. Maybe they'll remember.
Well, I tell you what, I got my electric bill the other day. I'm just telling you guys, I wouldn't run out and buy an electric car.
Yeah,
no.
Because there is not capacity. There is not capacity to keep them charged.
Right.
And remember the first time they had a problem in California, they said, well, we're in brownouts. Please don't charge your vehicle. Well,
and we got to buy the batteries, the material to make the batteries from China, and they're floating balloons over us now.
Here's what's even funnier.
I'm still driving a Corvette. And
okay, look, I lived in Southern California for a long, long time. Right. Here's the funny thing.
I have too. So.
We had rolling brownouts when I lived there years and years ago, like 12 years ago. Right. So the funny thing is, we had rolling brownouts then, and now California is trying to pass a law where all cars by, I think, 2030 have to be electric, and you have rolling brownouts, and they're telling you now not to charge your car. Oh, this is going to be epic.
And they're also saying
California is going to be walking everywhere. This is going to be a joke.
They're also saying if a gas station closes, it can't reopen. No new gas stations in California. If you close one, you can no longer open it back up. It's gone forever.
Again, California is going to be paragliders paragliders and skateboards. Congratulations, California. You have screwed yourself yet again.
Yeah, they're going to get a rude awakening because right now they're depending heavily on their Hoover Dam, which is the biggest one in the world, I think. And they're depending on Arizona. There's one of the biggest nuclear power plants in the world in Arizona. And that's two sources that are helping provide them energy. And, fortunately, population in places like Utah and Nevada and places is not very high. So, they don't have these strict rules, so they can sell them electricity. But no, it's running out. There is no capacity there, and you can put up windmills till doomsday, and it's not going to be a drop in the bucket. I'm sorry.
Well, again, a lot of the water that comes into Southern California is coming from Colorado as well, and has been forever. So again, when that contract goes up, all the water contracts, just wait till that happens too.
Like I said, I'm not buying any electric cars.
Right.
Just one away.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
I got
And now
I got a comic book question.
about somebody's
Yes.
got a good question there about solar energy. Okay,
What
let me
was
tell
the
you.
question? Let me see.
It says, what about solar energy? That seems like a no-brainer. That is a
Yeah.
great statement because that is accurate. That seems like a no-brainer. It's
It is.
really a big, huge problem. We don't have any way to store solar energy other than
Right.
batteries, and batteries run down and they're not efficient. And solar panels, you can put acres and acres and square miles of them up, and it costs you a gazillion dollars. And I know my company trying to be, or my former company trying to be very environmental, spent millions of dollars on one big solar project, and we netted 1 megawatt of electricity out of it. That is less than 1/1000th of what one single reactor at McGuire puts out.
Holy
So
crap.
solar power is, if you need some solar power for your house, to help cut down on your heat bill,
Right.
hey, go for it. If you need solar power, the little things to help recharge your phone, that's great. If you need solar power to heat your house, to cool your house and run your electric vehicle, you're screwed, blued, and tattooed.
Yeah.
And there is no technology today and they've been working on it for years, since 1973, the gas embargo, and it's just not there.
And
I'm
a
sorry.
lot of this goes back to that lossage. When you have that solar, the solar panels and everything, it creates a lot of dirty energy to make those things. And when you create it and you pop it out through those lines, you got such
Aren't the
lossage.
solar panels really toxic or something like that? No.
You got a huge amount of solar panels.
Well, not to mention the fact that the batteries for these electric cars cost $4,000 to replace. I have a friend who recently had to replace one, $4,000. And again, they're so toxic for the environment as well. It's like, okay, this makes no sense at all.
They got no place to dispose them either, so that's even worse.
Right. Yeah,
Hey,
exactly.
let's answer a few key things, because I see somebody, Joe has piped up and said, seems like you're against solar energy. That's bad. Yeah. No, I'm not against solar energy. I'm just telling you from a scientific perspective what it can be used for and what it can't be used for.
Right.
If you want to go back 49 years and watch The Man with the Golden Gun,
Right.
That was based on solar energy, and they had to have this mystical device that could actually harness solar energy. Well, it's been 49 years and we don't have it.
The technology is not there yet.
No, it won't be in my lifetime.
We need an animal
kids' lifetime, but I am for solar energy where it's useful. Like I said, if I didn't have a good, well insulated house and stuff, I'd kind of hate to do it, but I'd put solar panels up, and but like I said, there's a lot of things solar is good for, but like I said, you're not going to be able to charge your $5,000 electric car battery with it. That's all there is to it. So I guess we got a lot of people asking stuff about comics here too. I don't want to lose them.
No. So I was going to direct it directly to comics. Other than your favorite radioactive spider-infected Spider-Man, what are your other favorite comic book characters that you love and you collect?
Oh gosh, first of all, I'm not a Marvel snob. I love DC comics. Some of the first comics I read were DC comics, because we used to come home from school and watch reruns of the old Adventures of Superman, and I wanted to read about Superman all the time, so I went and got some Superman comics, and I didn't pay any attention to Marvel. Then one night my dad went into a fresh air market, he used to call them, and I said, grab me a comic book, Dad. And he brought me this comic book out called Journey into Mystery. And I said, what is this shit? And it was Thor. And I sat down and I read that book and I was mesmerized. I said, this is the best I've ever. So that I said, I got to try some of these other books. And then I went in and, like I said, 12 cents, I went in and bought stuff like, Amazing Spider-Man 24, 25, in
Nice.
the 30s, all those, and so I loved DC, Superman, Batman, of course, Green Lantern, The Flash, JLA, Wonder Woman, you name it. I can take about most DC characters, and I really like them. See, even Sergeant Rock, and I'm also big into on the Marvel side. I was big into the war books too. I
Yeah.
love Sergeant Fury. I've got a Sergeant Fury #1 and a
Nice.
bunch of Sergeant Fury, and I never even turned up my nose at Charlton.
There
Charlton
you go.
produced
Excellent.
some really good
Wow.
books. I
Yes,
mean,
they
You're,
are.
you're a real comic book purist.
yes,
That's
I,
insane.
I mean, Marvel,
Captain Adam,
DC,
Captain Adam,
Charlton,
the Blue Beetle.
kindly, Dale. Go.
Exactly.
I
Oh,
mean, that's
Dale
a
and
real
Goldie, yes, absolutely.
purist likes everything, not just one.
But
Well,
I
see,
got
I'm-
into.
I guess
got
I'm a Marvel snob.
But-
looky here,
but-
guys.
Ooh.
Here we go, buddy.
Oh
you
wow.
you are
Let's see.
actually chatting with a charter member.
Ah.
What? That's cool.
I
That's
have,
full of shit.
thanks to my sainted mother, I have this survived all those years.
Very
Wow.
nice.
So you can send that to me anytime now, since you're not focused completely on Marvel.
I'll tell you what, I've had a bone to pick. It's too late now. I can still bug Roy Thomas, but I had a bone to pick with Stan Lee for years because they promised initially when we sent a buck in to get these to join the club, which $1 back then was a lot of money.
Sure.
Yes, it was.
We sent a buck in and they promised they were going to print every member's name in a comic. They did that for about 2 or 3 years and then they just stopped. And they stopped after printing about 11,000 names, but there were 34,000 people who paid them $1 and were members.
Wow.
Wow.
And I was one of the ones whose name didn't get in anything because the guy's smart and developed a database, and you can actually go look it up.
Sure.
And he looked up and checked for me, and I didn't make it.
Oh,
Well,
my goodness,
you know,
really?
if they printed that and said they were going to put everybody's name on there, you can go back and tell Marvel that they're liable and they got to put your name in there.
I think they ought to.
Because
Yes.
you paid your $1. That way you held up your side of the end of the deal, and that's a contract that has not been fulfilled.
It was written out in black and white in the Stan Lee's section there. It said, we're going to print each and every member's name. And they
Wow.
were overwhelmed with people that were sending them dollars, little kids. And
Yep.
military people love college kids. Everybody loved to do that. And
Okay.
I was one of the youngest ones. But
Monty, I'm shocked that you're actually saying something against Marvel. I'm shocked.
I'm trying to get on his good side, so he'll send me that stack of papers he had right
Yeah, good luck.
there. Because I really are trying to collect it. I got some of that stuff, but I ain't got all of it. And that button is really what I'm looking for. And
Monty,
Roman Curtis, you got
Monty's
ear
not a
problems.
purist, so
and
he's
shit in your head.
a card carrying member.
Monty, I've been trying to get on your good side for months. I still have nothing. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I have.
You can't get a plastic bag out of Monty, and he asking somebody for something.
Yeah.
If my plastic bag has Marvel on it, you ain't getting it.
That's what I'm saying.
I wear my button to all the shows I go to, and
Nice.
not one out of 200 people have a clue what it is.
What
but
it
I
is.
always proudly
I know
wear
what
it.
it is. I know.
Yeah.
I got some stuff I'm going to show that here in a
So,
little bit. That
Mr.
you're gonna
Price,
like.
Sleepy
Yeah.
Reader has a question. He's asking, what's the biggest comic you had in one of or your 2 comic book stores?
Oh, all of them. We had Amazing Fantasy 15 a couple times. We had X-Men 1 multiple times. We had Fantastic Four, number 5. We had what was the first? I was trying to think if it was Justice League or what. The one that has Starro on the cover. We had.
Oh,
Justice League, yeah.
Yeah, we had that one. We had. I mean, good gracious, we had. Um, over all those years, the stuff that people came in and sold to us, and a lot of it I bought myself and kept. I wish I'd kept more, but there were huge books, and I mean, I've got some pictures on my. Oh, I'll tell you all this too. Anybody's welcome to follow me on Instagram at Mr. Jackal 55. I'll be glad to have you. And I have pictures on my post there of my stores from 10 or 12 years ago when they were packed with silver and golden age books. And, you see books on the wall. I mean, Incredible Hulk 181. We must have sold 100 copies of those over the years. I mean,
Wow.
they were just,
Right.
and,
You notice he said he wish he would have kept.
there's some of them that I sold that I wish I'm still.
See, there you go.
I sold a beautiful copy to a doctor of what was it? Flash 123.
Ah,
And that was a stupid mistake. And I had I've still got one, but I had at one time, I had an X-Men 1. It was about a 6.0 that was signed by Jack Kirby and Stan Lee.
oh my
And I
goodness.
was fool enough to sell that. And you can imagine that back about 2008 or 9, we're talking about maybe $3,000.
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
And I was thinking, oh man, I'm really making the money off this. So
Okay, let's
there's a
get
lot
into the
of
comic book questions, gentlemen. Comic book history. Anything you want to talk? Anything you want to ask, Mr. Edwin? So it's fine to-
As far as the ages of comics go, obviously you're not a modern guy.
right.
If you were to pick, would it be Golden Age, Silver Age, or Copper? What's your favorite?
Silver, because that's where
Silver?
I started. Yeah. I mean, I love bronze. I love bronze too, but silver was where I started. Like I said, I got my first Superman action adventure, Jimmy Olsen, Lois Lane. Like I said, based on the fact they were rerunning the old 50s TV series when I was growing up in the 60s. And I got every Superman title I could possibly get. And I mean, and the thing is, those stories are great. Just because the title's Lois Lane doesn't mean it doesn't have Superman all over it. And the same with Jimmy Olsen. Those titles were, they were great. And so it'd definitely be silver.
All right.
What would be your favorite Marvel character?
Oh, Spider-Man. Spider-Man, 100%. I read, like I said, the first Marvel I recall reading was the Thor. I think it was 116 or whatever. And it's actually Journey into Mystery, but it's got Loki and Thor on the cover with Odin, and they're fixing to have a contest. It's an orange cover, and that led me into other Marvel books. And pretty soon, like I said, I was spending all my money on comic books. And I'll be darned. I tell you what, it sure helped me learn a lot of. It helped my reading skills tremendously. It helped my, I fancy myself, or I did back then, an artist. I haven't really done any work on it, but I mean, it helped me with drawing things. It helped me learning words that I would have never seen anywhere else.
Big words.
Yeah, I'm just. Here was one I was working on last year, and I never got back around to it. It's
oh wow, nice.
It's from the cover of Amazing Fantasy, and it's after Jack Kirby. But like I said, I just never diddled back around with
very
the thing.
Nice though.
But I mean, Steve Ditko had to have a constitution of steel because he said he drew so many webs. You try to draw Spider-Man, everything on him is a web. And
Yeah.
it's-
Yeah.
So
See, when McFarlane changed the webs up, everyone that drew him afterwards hated that because that was the new standard of the webs, and they said they hated drawing the webs after that.
you know, McFarlane is a very special type of art. The
Yep.
only grievance I had with McFarlane was when he took over Spider-Man. I mean, he had Spider-Man in some great poses and
Right.
did the women nice and everything, but for some damn reason he drew Spider-Man with pointed feet, and I just that was something that I mean, you look at him and he looks more like Tarantula.
Yeah, Tarantula. I was going to say that too.
Well, we call those pointed feet in Texas cockroach killers because you can get them cockroaches in the corner, and boy, you can get them good.
But that was one thing that stuck out in my mind about McFarlane. I mean, I like I said, he is the king to many people, and I fully respect the guy. I mean, he's made millions over and over. He sold a lot of comic books, but I'm telling you what, you know, it would have meant the world to me to get to sit down and talk to Steve Ditko.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Big time.
All right. So I got a question. Top 5 villains, any comics.
Well, you know, everybody defaults to Dr. Doom, of course. I liked the Submariner when he was a villain.
Yes.
Before he turned good. Let's see. There's so many good ones. Thanos came a little bit. Thanos wasn't Silver Age.
Right.
I mean, Spider-Man had some just superior villains. I mean, Scorpion.
Right.
You know, I really they used him twice in the first 7 issues, the Vulture, but I never did really consider the Vulture one of his greater villains. But I mean, I look at the Scorpion; he was more powerful than Spider-Man. The Lizard, he was more powerful than Spider-Man. The Sandman was just a wonderful concept, and of course, Dr. Octopus. I mean,
Yep.
golly, how can you? Now the other villains, Loki.
Yep.
Whoa, and you know, the people the Avengers fought. The Avengers were fighting everybody. Zemo. I mean, I could go on and on about villains, but I kind of like I said, the thing I like about the Submariner was he started out big villain, turned into, you know, semi-hero or whatever.
Do you collect any Golden Age books?
Yeah.
I've got a few. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite out of them?
Detective.
Detective.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Nice.
I've got a lot of old detectives. I've got a Golden Age Batman. It's funny. I think it's issue 127, but it has Batman versus Thor.
Wow.
5 years before there ever was a Thor in the comics. And,
wow.
It is a really cool issue. You've got this big old Viking guy with the pointed helmet and the hammer and stuff coming after Thor and coming after Robin and Batman on the cover. It's marvelous.
Nice.
So there's some great villains. I mean, every character has great villains. You know, everybody the Hulk fought was always the most powerful being in the universe or whatever. I mean, it was just golly. Even Giant Man, like I said, they created some really peculiar ones for him. Like
they did.
The porcupine, the human top,
the mole man,
the Fantastic Four. I mean, the Skrulls. Oh my gosh!
I know.
So those, and somebody mentioned Joker. Heck yeah. There was the Joker, Riddler, Penguin. I loved them all. The Batman. I could not wait for Tuesday and Thursday nights for Batman to come on. They used to play it twice a week, a half hour from 1966 to 68. It would be, you'd get first half hour on Tuesday night. You know, it always ended with a cliffhanger, and then you'd get the resolution on Thursday night. And that was an absolutely great show. And I am pleased to say I did get to meet. I did get to meet back in 1994. I got to meet Adam West before he passed. I mean, long. He
Wow,
was
very
still,
cool.
I got to meet Adam West. I got to meet Batgirl. I'm trying to remember her name. Yvonne Craig. She was still a knockout back then. That was 1994, and they both passed away. I met the guy that played the Green Hornet. I met. I'm just thinking about some of the. I met the guy that played Don on Lost in Space. But I mean, and comic book artists. I used to go to Heroes every year when we had the stores and stuff
Right.
and set up, and oh my gosh, the people that Shelton Drum brought in was unbelievable. He brought in Stan Lee. He brought in all the guys that have passed on now: Gil Kane, Gary Friedrich. I'm just trying to. I mean, George Tuska was there every year up until he was in his 90s. He was doing sketches for people, and Martin Odell, the guy who created the Green Lantern back in World War II, he was there till he was on oxygen and couldn't go anymore. And there were just so many people alive back then that have passed on,
Right.
and it's I'm just so proud I got to meet Joe Sennett. Joe Sennett's the guy that inked Fantastic Four 5 with the first Doctor Doom, and all those guys were very nice people. I never met any of them that weren't just the old time guys. Were just happy to talk to you. Roy Thomas is one of my favorite guys. I hosted Roy Thomas at one of our cons back in 2007.
Awesome.
And I got to talk with him for several hours, and Roy knows everything. Roy was there. He got there in 65 and was like Stan Lee's right-hand man. He was there when Ditko marched in and quit. He was there 4 years later when Kirby marched in and quit. He saw everything go on, and he can tell you anything about anybody that was associated with the Marvel bullpen.
Interesting.
It is.
That's interesting. We've heard a lot of those stories too.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I didn't get to say hey to my buddy Roman. How are you, Roman?
Hello. I'm here.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Just here
Everybody
hanging out.
calls Roman Uncle Roman, but since I'm older than him, I call him Cousin Roman. So.
Love you, buddy.
Even funnier.
Well, Edwin,
What's your dirty little secret that you like to watch, or collect?
Sir, I didn't hear that. I'm sorry.
Say it again.
What's your dirty little secret that you're a bit embarrassed that you collect or that you love? Something like like My Little Pony or something. What is your dirty little secret? Everyone has one.
I honestly don't have a secret. I have so many collections because my mama instilled that in me when I was growing up. My aunt ran an antique shop, and my mama was big time antique collector. And I have got vintage toys going all the way back to, I think the earliest one I have is 1918. And I have my favorite ones are from the 50s and 60s. I have obviously comic books is a big thing to me. I have apothecary bottles. I love old bottles, and
Okay.
I have a gun collection.
Nice.
I have just trying to think, coins. I have some silver and gold. I just collect anything I can get my hands on. I've even got a small lot of high performance cars. I've got a Corvette and a excruciatingly rare 1963 supercharged fiberglass Avanti.
Wow.
And
Really?
they only made about 4,600 of those. Not many survivors, but it has it broke the land speed records. The stock vehicle broke the land speed records in 1963 with Andy Granatelli driving it at the Salt Flats. So mine is the supercharged version, and I'm just very, like I said, so car, you name it, I like to collect it.
Very
Now,
cool.
I've seen a lot of your collections that you posted recently about how the wife was going to get upset and you've got stuff all over the place. However,
Yeah.
what are some of your favorite toy collection pieces you have? Do you have any of them on hand close by?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hold on just a second.
Good one.
Because I collect toys, I collect action figures. I'm in the same boat. I get it.
Since he's a Spider-Man fan, I think I may pull something out.
There,
Oh boy.
there you go. Awesome. Excellent, Martin. Excellent.
Everyone's got a dirty little secret.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine are bad girl books. I'm just kidding. That's not really a dirty secret, but
As long as the pages aren't stuck together, that's all right.
yeah.
Aggressively. I love it. Oh, I can't wait to see this. Oh, I was curious about one of the pictures you showed.
Okay, here's just a few.
I was curious about the picture you showed. I didn't know what that was.
This is a model from the 1960s of a Westinghouse nuclear power plant, and it is
that's cool.
incredibly realistic.
Neat.
Well, that's
The
cool.
reactors, the steam generators, the control rods, everything. This is a model kit that Revell made, and it has a lot more pieces to it. I just pulled the reactor part out. I love Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah. Nice.
This is one of my favorites, The Well of Souls, and I've got the all the main characters still in their. I bought these from somebody who ordered them through the mail. They're still in the original plastic, never been opened.
Wow, very cool.
And I love this kind of stuff,
Nice.
But that's a couple of things. I got another item or two here. Oh, you all know my buddy Paul. We always, my ex-Navy buddy Paul, we always kid him about Popeye.
No, see,
This
that's
is one of my older toys here that a couple came in and sold me at the when we were back in the business 25 years ago or whatever.
Right.
King features, I think it's 1938. Yeah,
That's cool.
But they actually had the box to it, which is unheard of.
Wow.
That's
And,
in common.
I love this one with.
That's awesome. What? And it works still.
Oh yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, back then when you built something, it still works.
Yeah, I mean, I
Now
was
you
just
got 2
thrilled
years, maybe.
to death to get that, and this is a really cutie. I keep it on my desk here.
Wow. Oh yes.
Nice. Classic.
Cool.
And it works too.
Very cool.
Oh, that's neat.
Very cool. I like it.
Captain America riding a bicycle.
Absolutely.
1968 Marks product.
Awesome.
Who would have ever thought, I like, a lot of people, I love space stuff too. So this is
Excellent. I do too.
This is one of my favorite here because these are scarce as hen's teeth. They're always missing parts. But this is a.
Oh my God! You have an original Aliens. Oh my God! I'm freaking out.
1978 alien in the box.
Oh,
Dude, that's
he's got it
crazy.
in the box. Even the whole piece. He's got the whole
Nice.
piece.
I
With
would
the
love one of those.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
That is awesome. Sorry,
like
I'm
I
freaking
said,
out.
if we had unlimited
That's
time,
awesome. Can we see that
showed-
again? Can I see that again?
Squirrel.
Yeah.
Squirrel.
That was
Where's my hammer?
He's got the whole box.
I'll bend 4, please.
Dude, that is awesome. Awesome. You know how hard, I've been trying to find that forever.
There
It's
are
impossible.
not very many of them. Like I said, that was one of the benefits of owning comic card and
Sure.
toy stores.
Right?
That's awesome. Awesome piece there.
But that's
Oh
a
my
few
goodness.
things. That's a few things right there. I've probably bored away most of our audience. They probably wanted to hear about comics, but
No, you're good. You're
No,
good.
no.
You're good. You're all good. We're
We
good.
all collect lots of different things, man.
Exactly. You did not. Don't worry about that.
Okay. Well,
At
thank
all.
you.
All right, gentlemen, you get more questions? Stuff you want to show? Would you like to show some books or anything else like that?
Well, I put a bunch of books in the pictures. I mean, is there anything in particular people would like to see? I mean, I've got I do have one interesting thing. I am really a Mark Jewelers fan.
We have some buddies out there.
Everybody, I assume everybody's aware of what Mark Jewelers are.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yes. Okay, I'll buy that. I'll buy that now, please.
Oh, I love these. Yeah, this is
Mr. Price,
this one
just
has
for the newbies that do come into the show, explain the Mark Jewelers. We already know what that is, but tell them.
Well, from 1970, probably 70 and a half, to up to 1991 for Marvel Comics, a little less. I think DC quit in 87. But the Mark Jeweler Company targeted comic books that were being sold to military base.
Yep, PX.
And PX or Naval Exchange or whatever, that the sailors
hell.
and the military. And they put in these inserts.
Mr. Price, look at
Monty.
Look at Monty. You know what he's sweating for?
What?
Monty's just like, he doesn't want to see it. He's just like, no.
Yes, but Monty, you've just wiped your brow, so you've got sweat on those gloves. So what's the point? There's no difference. You're doing that, and then
my book. These are for show. When I get my books out, I put on different gloves. Believe me.
And that's fair enough then.
Oh God.
Monty wins.
Mr. Price, explain. Go ahead, bud.
Yeah. So anyway, they were targeted to military personnel. And the ones that were targeted to military personnel had these inserts in them. This is a cardboard insert. Now, when they got to about 1978 or whatever, they switched to a different, a very smooth, non-cardboard type. But it's still all the same here. It's got, they want to know, they would issue credit to servicemen.
Right.
And it says, if you've got over 25 years service to the military, send no money, 14-day approval, 100% guarantee. And it's got on here, fill in your APO address and stuff. And they sold diamonds and engagement rings and things to those guys. So I'm sure they did quite a whopping business. So only 6% of the print run would be a Mark Jeweler, and most of them went to the naval base or the military bases, and if they did, the government had them stamped with a star.
Okay.
Now, if they did not go to the military base, they always had some extras. Then they were sent out to just the regular supermarkets, drugstores.
Now there is a couple different varieties of Mark Jewelers, correct?
There are many.
Yeah.
And I'm going to show you another one here. So anyway, this one is a star stamped one from the 70s that shows it came from a military base. And I have one here. This is the rarest one I've got.
Wow.
Because it's a double dinger. But what I was saying was the ones that were left over, they sold them to the local stores. So if the stores near military bases. So what makes this one special? First of all, it has the different type insert like I was telling you about. No more heavy cardboard. You have the light, very pretty paper here. But the thing that makes this one such a gem, it's the only one I've ever seen like this in all my years.
It's a double cover.
Double cover.
A double
Wow.
cover Mark Jeweler.
Those are super rare.
Yeah, the odds of hitting one of these is, I don't know. I just got lucky. It was in with a batch of Mark Jewelers that I bought. But
Nice.
I can show you, if anybody's got any requests, I've got Amazing Spider-Man AF-15 through 50, and then a bunch of other ones. I've got, some of the other key books. I've got.
Well, the other interesting thing with those is that there's different colors of Mark Jewelers books too.
Oh yeah.
There's
If you want me to mention that,
purple.
yeah. If you want me to mention that, by far the rarest color is brown.
Yeah, brown's one of the rare ones. Brown, black, ruby, light blue. There's green. Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of other random ones too. It's kind of interesting, like the colors they chose.
There are some that are matched. And
what is the most sought after? The one you have there, Mr. Price?
No, the most sought after color is brown because it's by far the rarest. Probably the next one in line is green. Yep. Green, a solid green, not the one that's green on one side and blue on the other.
Right.
But a solid green one, that's pretty rare. And then they actually had some orange ones. Those are pretty rare. Then you go up, they had ruby. That's pretty rare. Then you get down to the most common is black. Also the blue, lavender.
Wow. I didn't know there was that many.
The blue gray. Those were the most common ones. Like I said, if you find a brown one, you've found something.
Right.
There's a pink one too, if I'm not mistaken.
Now I've never seen a pink one. That would be
maybe not.
Maybe I'm considering. Maybe I'm looking at. A lot of people have different senses of color.
Yeah, pink or ruby, maybe.
Lavender or whatever. I have seen those, but yeah. I mean, if anybody's got any request or whatever.
There you go. What are your best key Mark Jeweler you have?
Well, I've got several. I've got let's see, keys. I've got let's see, I've got a Avengers 196 Taskmaster. I've got a Legion of Monsters that is a Mark Jeweler.
Nice.
I've got I like the rarer type, the ones that you find in obscure books.
Sure.
I'm trying to think. I've got quite a bit. Some of those astonishing tales with when they brought back Ant-Man.
Yep.
Have them, and but I've got. I can't remember right offhand. I've got a fire. I know what it is. I've got a 225 Thor Fire Lord. It's a Mark Jeweler. So yeah, I've got several keys that are Mark Jewelers. I just love the things.
Joey, come on. So, what did you pull out for us tonight on your backdrop, or is that from an old sale?
Oh, these are just some. I don't really. I'll be honest with you. I just threw a couple things up here. These are just to put something on the board because I cleared it out the other night. But these, I've got about 2 boxes of slabbed books, and I've been getting rid of those. I'm just not a slab guy.
There's your answer to that question, you guys. Someone asked about it earlier in the chat.
And I'm gonna tell you why from experience.
Can't wait to hear this.
I went in about 2001 or 2 or whatever, when we were in the business. CGC was just getting started, and we were one of the people that helped support them. We sent in quite a few books to have them slabbed, and they really did a good job. back then, and they were reasonably economical, and the turnaround time was about 4 to 6 weeks, no extra charges or whatever. That's about what it took. And they were, I mean, once in a while, there'd be something inconsistent or whatever, but back then they were very consistent and trustworthy. And in the last 4 or 5 years, I have seen discrepancies that just, that I can't tolerate. I mean, I've seen people send in near perfect books and get a 8.0 back on it. I've seen people send in a book that should be 8.0 and get a 9.4. There's just no consistency anymore like it used to be. And it's
and why is that, do you think? Just out of curiosity.
I think it's because they got too big, too fast, and they sold out to a company that was interested in the bottom line more than the service that they were.
Volume. There are too many people coming in, too much volume, and they're just going through them too quick.
And you can't take a guy and train him for 3 days and pay him $15 an hour and say, here, now grade this Tales of Suspense 39. But I've just seen too many examples of just not even close. So I still always have and always will have used Overstreet standards when I grade books. And
Look at that.
People always tell me, hey, you grade conservative, and I really appreciate this. And
and you really do, honestly. I've gotten many books from you. I've gotten many books from you, and honestly, I got to say, like, I think a lot of books that you send me are
very fair,
way better than you think they are, and I'm appreciative of that. But at the same time, will I send them in to get graded? Absolutely not, because just like you said, it doesn't make sense.
I've got an Amazing Spider-Man 1 over there that, like I said, I wouldn't let him touch my Amazing Fantasy.
I'm sorry, Mr. Price. Could you come into the camera just a little bit?
Oh, did I get it? I'm sorry.
Yeah, just a little bit. There you go. There you go. I want people to see you. Sorry.
I sent in an Amazing Spider-Man 1 several years ago. Sent it to CBCS, I think it was. And at the time, I was pretty disgusted with CGC, so I sent it to CBCS. And they got it back faster, but it was at least a grade lower than what I graded it, and I'd bought it like 20 years ago from Harley Yee, who y'all probably know is one of the biggest dealers in the country. And Harley Yee and I were in agreement as to what the grade was when I bought it from him. We were spot on about that. So it came back about a full grade less, and I was a little leery of CBCS then. And the final straw was I sent books to CBCS on Fast Track in April of 2021. And got them back after filing a complaint with the state's attorney general office. Got them back 16 months later.
Wow. Are you kidding me?
I'm telling you the honest to God truth. And we paid for Fast Track on those books.
Wow.
And I will never send anything to them again.
No.
I'm not the only one that's had that problem. But and comic book, like I said, depending on who's grading them, I sent a book into that I knew the pedigree on. To CGC, and they sent it back to me and said that it had been restored and trimmed. And I said, that's absolute bullshit. I mean, I measured it down to the millimeter. I got other ones and compared it to it and everything. I ripped it open, sent it to CBCS.
So there's the other answer to your questions, gentlemen, in the chat. That's part of the other question. He's answering it right now. So yes, he has done it.
I sent it to CBCS. It came back a grade higher and was not trimmed. And so, like I said, whoever was at CGC that day was just off their rocker. And I mean, some of the best examples of that, my buddy Jen, who I auctioned with, he had some books he bought off the shelf, sent them in, and they came back slabbed as restored.
Wow.
And I sent in a Daredevil 7 with the red costume that I bought back when I was in college for like $5. And I had it about 40 years or whatever. And I sent it in to CBCS. It was part of this group that took 16 months to get back. I sent it in, and it came back as slight professional restoration. I said, that's very, very interesting. Who the heck did that back in the late 70s, early 80s, professionally restored a $5 comic book? But
Right.
Wow.
so like I said, write them all. I wrote them off. And, but like I said, if you got any specific books, I mean, if you're interested in any Spider-Mans, I've got, I know I have a pretty full run of those AF 15 through 50, and then plenty more way on up into bronze. That's a, everybody knows that one. That's the Madam Web.
Madam Web.
Yeah.
Nice, Madam Web.
That's the second Green Goblin here. This was kind of back when they used to could grade, you know.
Yep.
I would have probably graded it an 8.0, but
Okay.
but I mean, you know, half grade either way. Who's going to argue? No.
And the X-Men up there? What's the X-Men there?
The
Got a bunch of
X-Men is just
X-Men
one.
up there.
They got a high grade. I don't know why I've sent books in that looked that nice before.
Juggernaut.
Right.
And they came back, you know, 8.0, 7.5. This book is really nice, and it merited a 6.5. I have no idea why.
Wow.
Look at that, you know. So, like I said, there's just no consistency. But
Right.
Yeah.
That's one thing we've been experiencing in the community, like big time over this. It's been kind of a up and down kind of a thing about this too. The grading of the books.
Somebody else asked a question. They said PGX is sounding better and better. No.
Yeah.
We had PGX books come. We never sent anything, but we had PGX books come into the stores, and PGX was always lax in grading.
Right.
I mean, years ago. I mean, most of the dealers would get PGX books and crack them open.
Well, what I've heard from them was the guy worked out of his what was it, garage or something like that. Yeah, so that's what I've heard.
Like I said, the only other company I know of, and I have one example, and one example only, is a company called EGS.
Yeah, EGS.
And I got a book from a guy that was graded by EGS. It has a little thing that came with it with the guy, the president of the company, where he had to sign off on every defect that they found. And you weren't looking for grader notes. I mean, this is like a checklist, and it had everything written out. And I thought it was spot on. It was rated a 7.0, and I would have rated it a 7.0 by my Overstreet standards. And that's the only example I have. Now, you know, you might pick up one tomorrow and it might be terrible, but I was impressed with the one example of EGS that I have.
Right.
See, I think if they're going to grade those books, they're going to have to prove that they know what they're doing. The graders ought to come for free.
Yeah.
Well, I agree. I agree with that completely. But again, at the same time, EGS also, too, is very expensive to grade books. And plus all the custom labels, all the extra blah, blah, blah. But again, the standard all started with Overstreet.
Right.
Yeah, I still grade my books with Overstreet standards.
That should be the standard still.
Wise people do.
That's what I noticed about
the guy from Mile High. If you read their rules and stuff, the guy from Mile High says, we don't guarantee, you know, if we say a book's 8.5 and CGC says it's 8.0, we don't
see. This goes back to a matter of opinion
and
again.
We're right and they're wrong. And he said, we go by Overstreet, and they got a totally different.
Right.
See, this goes all back to a matter of opinion. Now you're going to get these books that are graded in these slabs and everything, and you got to look at them and regrade them in the slab, because, like they were saying in the chat, some of them had bins on them. They're saying they're 9.8. So
Right.
right there, that just
Exactly.
totally throws everything out the window. Because if
Well-
I get a book and it says 9.8 and it's got a bend on it, I know it's not a 9.8.
Again,
So
Monty,
that's screwy.
I have books, Monty, that I guarantee you are graded 9.8 that are not 9.8s. I've got books that are 9.4s that are definitely 9.8s.
I got a 9.8 over there that's got bugs encapsulated in it.
That's what I'm saying. I've got 8.5. I've got 8.5s that I guarantee you are at 9.4. I mean, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I've got all these different books
feel the pain
that are
for sure on
graded
this. So
that are not graded correctly. Across the board, I have them.
Goodness,
Like that first Spider-Gwen I got, I took it to my LCS, and he even said it shouldn't be a 9.8. He even looked at it. He goes, that shouldn't even be a 9.8. So
Again,
it's like,
one of my Silver Surfers, I had like a 9.8 on it, and it was ripped in the back.
I don't care about the grading company. I don't care if it's CBCS or CGC.
Right.
You know, I have one PGX book, which is actually cracked, that I will get regraded because the thing's damn cracked. But other than that, I mean, like, it's all subjective. It's like, okay, is the grader having a good day? Did their wife, tell them they're leaving them? I mean, what's going on? Like, I mean, did their dog die? Like, it's literally so subjective day to day. How they grade shit.
I don't want to offend nobody, but this is my opinion. Why would you want to send a book off to have somebody else look at that book and put a grade on it other than you don't want to go out and learn how to grade a book? You're taking somebody else.
Very good point.
And you sit there and you can take that book, find the biggest flaw in that book. This is how you start grading. You find the biggest flaw in that book. That book is going to be no higher than the biggest flaw in that book. Then you start looking at the other flaws and work your way down. Simply, I've been doing it I hadn't been doing it since I was in little school, but I've been grading books for 30 years, and I've been using the checklist. That's what you do. The biggest flaw, then work your way down all the other flaws, and you start taking off a 0.5 and everything until you get it. These people at CGC, CBS, or ABC, or XYZ, or whatever, that's their opinion. When they get massive amounts of people sending these books in, they're making money, and they're going to start getting these books out of there. And now the market's getting flooded, and we're seeing these errors, and now we got to grade these books inside the capsulation. Like I said, I got books with bugs in them. I don't want nobody handling my books, and now they encapsulate it with bugs in there. I guess it's where more I got fossils.
Have you ever run across this bad phenomena which occurs, and that is they will damage the book when they encapsulate it? Because I sent a $10,000 book in one time, and it came back with encapsulated inside a little chip floating. I mean,
I've seen one a couple of days.
Wow. But it was broken loose from the book, and it was taken out when they encapsulated it, and that just sickened me. So
you know that Carolina Chris, Art, if you sit there and you buy a 9.8 and you get that book and it's slabbed and it comes to your house and it's got a big crease on it, hey, it's slabbed, it's a 9.8. Are you going to be happy with that book? Even though you've seen it on eBay or whatever, you're not going to be happy with that book.
Nope.
Even though it says a 9.8.
Nope.
Nobody is.
And when I sell books, I mean, a lot of people will go out on a limb and say, "Oh, it's a candidate. It's this. It's that." But I'll tell you what I usually do on auctions. I usually max out, and it has to be a damn good book. I usually max out around 9, maybe 9.2. I never tell anybody if I've got a book that looks unread that it's a 9.6 or 9.8 candidate, because it's not being honest. It's my opinion, but they might send it in. It might come back an 8.0.
And another thing they were doing here a few years back, they were sending out all these tins. There is no such thing as a 10.0 book.
Or a 9.9.
Yeah,
I've seen 9.9s before. Yeah.
That can never be a 10.0
Right.
book. That is something that should be never happen. But they crossed the line and they did it.
By the time we opened the boxes from Diamond Comics every week, I'm thinking that the average book that we pulled out was about a 9.2.
Yep. Or that's lucky. That's even lucky if it's a 9.2.
Toss them in the book. UPS would hurl them around, and like I said, our guys would have try to be careful getting them out. But like I said, they were about on average they were about 9.2.
Exactly.
I completely
since he's bringing it up, what's the weirdest thing you found in the diamond box? Because I've heard the stories.
Oh gosh, that
cockroaches.
What you found was something missing. They were the world's greatest in shorting you criticals.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
My buddy.
One time we were opening the. I was there on a day when they received the order, and one of my guys came back and he said,
Tony,
I got something for you. And he handed it to me. And I'm telling you what, it would have made a sailor's eyes water. It was the most porn book I had ever seen in my life. And they sent it as, some kind of, they used to send teasers and stuff, or what I believe it was, to just see if you wanted to buy them or whatever. But that was the most grotesque thing. I said, I like a good titty book, but get that thing out of here.
Well, I've seen them open diamond boxes and have a cockroach in them.
Yep. And getting to this question, Tony, grading is always subjective, no matter who it is, and there are so many different opinions and scales. That's true, but also what you're hearing here is personal experiences. We've all experienced this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just one person. This is many, and this is just a small group of guys that have dealt with this with CGC. This guy, Mr. Price, he had stores. He dealt with them.
Yeah.
He's got experience in it. He knows what he's talking about. So to me, that's.
We would buy, this goes back $250,000 or $300,000 of new books from them a year for a long time. One time they sent me that, and I really appreciated it. That was I've still got it with the little thing on it.
Wow.
That's cool.
See, this goes back to the time to where you need to sit there with your books and haggle with the person across from you and come up to an agreeable grade of these books. I mean, if you sit there and you say it's a 7.0 and the guy across the table sits there and says it's a 8.0, I mean, you'll come to agreement and everything, haggle it out, 7.5, and you settle on a price and you move on. That way you're both happy. But you cannot look at that grade on that plastic container no more and sit there and say, I guarantee it's that.
Nope. Absolutely not.
Well, there's really no guarantees at all.
No, I understand that, Tony. No, I totally understand that. I know that. I understand what you're saying. I get it. No offense to anybody. None at all.
Pressed and cleaned and still send it in, and it's not going to be the grade that you think it will be, perhaps. I mean, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Sadly.
This is where I have to bite, Deuce. This is where I have to bite my tongue a bit, because if you're pressing the comic, the comic never came like that in the first place out of the diamond box. So you're restoring it. So you're making it what it never was. It's never pressed.
I'd say I don't agree with that. Once you press
but you're playing with it.
Restoring it. You're not restoring it.
No, but you're not restoring it. But aren't you making it to what it never was? It was never pressed when it come off the line.
They got into that, they kind of mixed up restored, conservatorship, so on and so forth, to where they just began to accept a book that had been in a press as, hey, that's great. If it's not been in a press, we'll punish you.
Yeah, and plus, they went ahead and jumped on the bandwagon and said, hey, you want to send us your books and we'll press them. So it's more of this right here.
Yeah, for lots of extra money and lots of extra
so
time.
They're going to accept the pressing because it's making more money.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But you're still making it something it never was, aren't you?
Well, yeah, but again, they're doing it too. So again, here we go with the
I know,
whole
I know, but
I mean, again, because Diamond ships like shit. Okay, almost every
Yeah, we all know
distributor
that.
that's ever shipped- almost every distributor that's ever shipped comics does not take care of their customers. They're shipping in bulk to stores all over the world, and they don't care. They're shipping them cheap. They don't give a shit.
I don't
care.
I don't
They really
think
don't.
it's that they
They really
don't
don't.
care.
They
I don't
don't
think
give
it's
a
a
flying fuck. They don't. They're shipping in
I
bulk.
think it's to a part that they don't care. It's what it costs so much to care to ship those books that the
Right.
retailers is not going to want to pay the amount for shipping what they got to do to keep them in. It's cheaper
There's
just
a
to ship more
reason-
out.
There's a reason why comic books went from direct edition from newsstand edition. Okay, when direct edition came in, right, you bought the books that you had, and you had no choice. You bought them, you owned them. When direct edition happened, direct edition, if they came in damaged, back in the day, you could return them if they were damaged. When direct edition stuff started happening, and this is the evolution of comics. If you don't know, look this shit up. It's not a joke, but look this shit up. Like, the evolution happened between direct edition and newsstand edition. Newsstands could not be resent in for refunds, right? Because they were shipped to wherever they were shipped, and it was what it was. Direct edition comics, if they got damaged, you could ship them back and get a credit. There's a reason why the newsstand and direct edition comics changed.
Well, newsstand could be taken back to distributorships, and the
maybe I'm going backwards, but yes.
They were bought and they were put in 3-packs. They were bought and put in 3-packs, and they were sold as what are their packs called? Those packs back in the 80s.
The blister
they
packs?
had 3. The what?
Distributor pack, maybe? I don't
know. Yeah, because I remember going and we had a business that come by and they supplied all sorts of magazines.
Right.
And they'd go and then they'd go to the store and the whatever the comic books, they would pick them up and they would take the comic books back and they'd go to a warehouse, because I was at this warehouse. They'd take these warehouse, they'd have pallets and they'd put them all on the pallet and they'd ship them off. Well, then people would get them. Then they put 3 or 4 in they'd put them in their little vinyl bags and everything. Then they'd ship them out to TGNY, Walmart, Kmart, and they'd sell them like that. And they were called something. Whitman books.
That is the difference between direct edition and the.
They had barcodes on them.
Well, yes, they did, but again, the barcodes also changed too. At one point, they had a slash through them.
Yeah.
Right. I want to thank the 1920 people who keep watching. I appreciate it, you guys.
And shit. Oh my God. Direct edition and the newsstand edition changed at one point, right? Because distributors figured out they could ship books and then not get them back, and they had to pay no matter what.
Exactly.
And at what point that
was the deal. Yeah, if you signed on with Diamond, 30 years ago or whatever, there's a no return clause, or
right. There was a third party that bought those books from a big distributor that would gather them back and then ship them somewhere else.
But now,
again, I don't remember the timeline, but again, that's why also too it's interesting, because the newsstand editions and the direct editions became more valuable at one point or another, depending on distribution. It also depended on what got sent back, right? So
they
at one point in history,
they didn't use the UPC code until the mid-70s. Then the earliest direct code is, and it's scarce as all get out, is in 1978.
Right.
And because you can imagine how many comic book shops, how many people were on direct distribution in 78. Not very many. And those are much scarcer. You know, people clamor after a newsstand, but if you got a 1978 or 79 direct, it's about
Yep.
9% of the production.
Yep.
So it's
So
also
they're-
kind of funny to me how people are like, "Oh, I want a newsstand." Well, it also depends on when the era was, right?
You know,
Because of that distribution, and a lot of people don't know that. That's
You
what's
guys-
funny.
you guys will know that this is true, and it's funny. Kind of when I was a little kid,
Yep.
you could buy comic books at the rack at the gas station. You could
Yep.
buy them at the grocery store.
Yep.
You could buy them at the drugstore or whatever.
Yep.
All right. What they used to do at the gas stations is, like I said, all they would pay for was the books that sold.
Right.
The
Right.
books that didn't
Yeah.
sell, they had to rip
Yep.
the top 1/3 off
Yep.
and staple them all together and give them to the representative or whatever. The books were trashed or handed out. A lot of times they were given to schools for Halloween grab bags. They were disposed of that way and stuff like that. But you weren't supposed to sell them. But they had no risk. It was kind of like, you know, giving somebody a space for a gumball machine. You get a little cut,
Right.
but there's no risk to you. So there was no risk to comics then. But being in the business for the last 30 years, you got to have a smart guy ordering, or because if you over order, you're screwed.
Yeah, you're done.
Yeah.
You're
Hey.
done.
Hey, Robert.
Yep.
Can you focus this on what Edwin was saying? And I got something right back here that will tie into what Edwin's saying. So let me show you this right here.
Yeah, bud. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm proud to sit there and show y'all a golden age rack, a 70s rack,
Mm.
and an 80s rack.
Oh, that is so nice. That is
Nice.
So
Monty, you got
Nice.
it's
the
hard
best
to
rack
see
in the
because
business.
it's black. And those are the spinner racks that I got right now. I only need one rack to complete my collection.
Those are marvelous.
And that's
Very
it.
cool.
The center, when we had one of those in one of the stores at one time.
Well, this one right here is a golden age. It has 48 on the tag.
Mhm.
Nice.
Well, yeah,
this-
the books are bigger too.
Yeah, and it's water, and it's even got more. It's even got the ones for the little digest comics that will clip on the side of it.
That
Nice.
is so cool.
Very nice, Monty.
So I've got three. This rack right here is the one I've been looking for, trying for like 4 months to get from this guy, and I finally got it today.
Monty, you get the best rack
Awesome.
in the business.
Congratulations, Monty. Finally. You've been talking about that for a while.
You got the best racks on YouTube. I'm just kidding.
The best racks in the business, baby.
Awesome.
A lot of those barcode books that come off the barcode, I mean the newsstand and everything, set on these racks, and they were damaged. I mean, it was hard to get a book that wasn't damaged in a high grade
Mhm.
off of these
Yeah,
racks, because
yes.
these racks just tore them up.
And they also got read about a half a dozen times before you could
Yeah,
get in the game.
exactly.
And they weren't bagged and boarded at the time too. So
Oh no, bagged and board
yeah,
wouldn't
no bag and board and back then either. So
Have we got everybody? I want to make sure we didn't miss somebody's question.
It was all raw dog all day.
mhm.
Go ahead, Evan.
barbarian.
I think we got everything.
You do? Okay, yeah, okay. I just want to make sure because
Yep, I've been
we
checking.
sometimes, when we're doing auctions, sometimes we overlook somebody's question. It really pisses them
They
off.
usually remind me, the boys, the guys in the chat.
Yeah, we normally remind him.
Remind me,
haven't
so
missed
I
no
asked the
questions
question, so I'll go look for it and post it right away. I posted
Yeah.
everybody's chat tonight.
Great.
And I want to see maybe there would be a first, Robert, on a show, and we'll talk to Edwin here in a minute. Maybe we can make a first happen that'll be amazing on this show here in a minute after when we start showing our books and everything.
Oh,
Mm.
cool. So let's get this out of the way really quick. I want to get into my last two questions for Edwin while we show our books.
All
All right. Let me get to that, and we'll knock out that, because it always takes us a while to get through our books because we just enjoy showing books and talking about them. So, Mr. Price,
Yes, sir.
do you have any inspirational thoughts or ideas for the community as a whole?
Yes, I do. I think about this stuff a lot, and there
Excellent.
is a very tight knit comic community. We are a very, very, very small minority. Um, we are a niche group of people because 350 million people in this country, and probably 348 million could care less about comics.
Exactly.
So they love movies and
Yep.
stuff, but they don't, and especially the young people today. I mean, my
Correct.
grandkids and stuff,
Yep.
they wouldn't read a paper comic book for anything. They're all into video games,
Yep.
and if they do anything,
Mhm.
it's online and stuff. So we people that are doing this, and some of us are aging out here, but we are a tight knit group. We try to take care of each other. Well, I've seen a lot of charity stuff,
Yep. Me
and
too.
I really appreciate that, and it is a pleasure to be in this community. Like I said, it was fun to operate comic stores.
Sure.
But that's what I would say. Let's not do anything to disturb the harmony that we've got, because I mean, you've always got a few trolls,
Absolutely.
a few people that cause a problem or whatever.
Thank you.
The best thing to do is ignore them the first time. The next time is just to block them or get rid of them or whatever.
Excellent.
I'm always there to give somebody a second chance, because they might have just gone off,
Agreed.
or not thought
Agreed.
or whatever. But it's like you get a shot, and after that,
Yep.
you're out of
That's
here.
exactly right.
The other thing is, I find that the vast majority of people are very honest. There's a lot of scammers on eBay and
Yep.
places like that will, try to get you to send them stuff and then say that, something's wrong, and they want to send it back, and then they don't send it back to you.
Right.
And, thank God so far I haven't had any problems like that with the groups that I deal with. And so that's why, like, I offer an unconditional guarantee on my book. If I send you a book and I say it's an 8.0 and you get it and you think it's a 7.0 or whatever, all you got to do is send it back. It's no
That's
problem.
something I love about you, Edwin. You're honest like the rest of us. You get it.
You've got to do that. I mean,
Yep.
some of the scammers, like on eBay, and unfortunately, there's one or two bad eggs. Some people will get a book, and now I haven't had this happen. It happened to a very good friend of mine just a week or so ago.
Yep.
And he is as good a grader as I am, and he sent a book to some guy, and it was a 5.0, and I had looked at it myself. It was a 5.0, and the guy got back in touch with him and said, "Hey, this is a 3.5," and what he was wanting to do was get the guy to give him some kind of reimbursement, keep the book, and my friend said no. He said, "Send me the book back, full refund." Well, I don't want to send the book back. Well, and it finally got to where my buddy realized he was dealing with the troll, and he just told him, he said, "I tell you what, keep the book. I'm sending you your money back, but we're not doing business anymore."
Yeah.
And
Wow.
I hate that stuff like that happens, but they learn this kind of stuff on eBay, and we can't let them bring it into this
Thank you.
community. So
Excellent. Thank you very much for that. All right. Next question. What does thinking outside the box mean to you?
all right, I've got an answer for that, because they always used to. That was something they always said for the last 20 years or so in engineering, was we got to think outside the box.
Yep.
And here was my philosophy. Now, we have to work. A lot of times we had to work in engineering, and one time I held the title of design. I mean, I did different things too, but I held the title of design engineer. And what you do is, you're constrained by a certain number of parameters. or whatever,
Right.
length, width, height, temperature, volume, all this stuff like that. But what I like to what I always like to say was, as an engineer and as a person, I don't ever consider myself in a box. I'm free to think about
Yes.
anything, and that's so I think that if you've got a good imagination and a good mind or whatever, that you can resolve more by what I would call thinking freely, instead of saying, well, I got to stay within this, I got to stay within that, I got to do this, because you may come up with something better than what the parameters restrict you to. And
Beautiful.
That's happened many times. And yeah, so that saying, like I said, that was developed probably about 25 years ago. I think that's about the first time I ever heard that. But I had an old boss, a very senior engineer to me years ago, and he had a saying, and I always picked up on it. He said to us all, us younger, he said, when we've got a problem, which is what engineers theoretically solve,
right?
We've got to look and examine the problem. He said, and we have to look at two things. First of all, what do we know? What are the facts? The second thing is, what do we think we know? Because a lot of times somebody hands you a problem. Hey, the plane crashed over here at PSB. It's got there's a problem with the engine over here, we found. Well, you know what? That may have been a contributory cause instead of the root cause. So you always have to ask yourself, have I looked at all the facts, or am I looking at stuff that I think I know?
Yep.
So that's my take on out of the box. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Awesome. And a big shout out to Bronze Age Brian. Buddy,
Oh, he's up.
how are you? Awesome to see you.
Hey.
Awesome. All right, and boy, Carolina 26 liked that answer too. Hearts and big thumbs clap. Yes, excellent.
Well, I thank you guys. This has been a lot of fun tonight, and one thing I can do is talk a lot.
And you know what? I love it.
We've
had a lot of interesting conversations so far, and I think that's excellent. That's what I'm looking for.
That's what I used to love about the stores and stuff. I'd go hang out there when I was off for a few days or whatever. Sure. I had other people running things, and but I would go hang out and I would talk to some of the longtime customers, and we'd get into talks about books and what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And you never knew who was going to walk in.
Yep.
One guy walked in one time about I'm thinking it was about 15 years ago. A guy and his kid walked in, and he said, you got anything around here that was drawn by Bill Everett? And I said, yeah. I said, I got a Marvel superheroes up here that tells the Daredevil story. I said, Bill Everett drew that. He said, can you show that to my son? He said, Bill Everett was my granddad. And he said, my son doesn't believe that he had anything to do with comics, and he doesn't care about comics or anything like that. And I said, really? So tell me. So he went on telling me about how he joined the Navy and that he was born. Bill Everett died in 1973. He was born in 1974. He never knew his grandfather. But his father told him all this stuff, and his father helped Bill Everett in the last few days. His father was an artist too, not one of name or whatever. But Bill had a very bad problem with alcohol, and that's ultimately what took him out. But so this guy had never met his grandfather. I said, your grandfather was quite a famous man. And I told the kid, I said, I said, a lot of people certainly respect and appreciate the work your dad did. I said, anybody that knows about the Submariner or Daredevil or whatever. And I pulled out that book and I showed him there, Bill Everett and stuff. And he was like, well, it's just a comic book or whatever. I said, I tell you what, son, and because we're talking fourth generation. Let's see, fourth generation. I said, I tell you what I'm going to do. I said, this is a $50 book. I said, I'm going to give it to you. I said, you take this home and you keep this because your granddad. I'm doing this out of respect for your granddad because he sure brought me a lot of joy and stuff. And I said, one of these days you'll appreciate that. And having somebody like that in the family. So anyway, it was a tragic story in a way, but I have no idea. I guess that kid now would probably be 25 maybe or something, but maybe
we're probably thanking you now.
I mean, maybe he thinks, hey, I had somebody who was somebody.
Hopefully after that particular gesture of what you did, he paved it forward with something else to somebody else.
You can never tell, but I mean, I just felt like I said, I liked Bill Everett so much that, like I said, I felt like, hey, I got a chance to do something for one of his descendants here.
Exactly.
Take this with you.
So before we show books, I need to ask because Barbarian's asking, and would you sing a song tonight?
Sure. I can sing. I'll tell you what.
Do you know superhero songs?
My favorite ones are the Marvel songs.
There we go. What do you guys want to hear? What Marvel song? What do you want to hear?
Thor.
I can do a couple. Thor. Okay, that's one of our favorite ones to sing on the show. We love Thor. So it goes from the rainbow bridge of Asgard, where the booming heavens roar. You'll behold in matchless wonder the god of thunder, mighty Thor.
Awesome.
And my next favorite one is Iron Man. And
some of the shows, like there was the last show you did,
yes,
you were singing the songs, and one of the guys the moderator was actually dying. He was like, "No,
he can't stand it. Paul can't stand it because
Paul that was cracking me up. I was laughing my ass off.
Those are the original cartoons from 1966, the first Marvel cartoon.
Yeah.
And what they did, basically, they used the stories from the current books and put movable mouths on the artwork.
It was so funny.
Great.
Paul was losing his mind. I was loving it.
Everybody else loves it. And
it was cracking me up. Paul was losing his mind.
MT is a Thor nut, and he always joins in with it. And it's great.
I love it.
What do you guys want to hear?
Spider-Man?
Well, I'll tell you what, there's these that have specific words are, let's see, they have Submariner, they have Hulk, Captain America, and Iron Man, and I already did the Thor. So
Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
It came a year later, and it had the longer song. But I know that. What would y'all like?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Okay. Let's see. Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out. Here comes the Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Listen, bud.
You got to do Submariner. You got to do Submariner.
Yeah, that's
blood. Can he swing from a thread? Take a look overhead. Hey there. There goes the Spider-Man.
Yes.
In the chill of night, at the scene of a crime, like a streak of light, he arrives just in time. Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Welcome fame, he's ignored. Action is his reward to him. Life is a great big bang up. Wherever there's a hang up, you'll find the Spider-Man.
Nice, guys. Come on.
Submariner's the
Please.
Submariner is the one that you don't hear very often. And
let's hear that.
It's pretty short, but let's see. Let me see. Okay, let's see. Okay. He's stronger than a whale. He can swim anywhere. He can breathe underwater. He can fly through the air. For Namor of Atlantis is the prince of the deep.
Wow.
Notice that's Namor of Atlantis, not of Aztec land.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I agree 100% with that. That sucked. They rumped my
was awesome.
Submariner.
Nice. You're getting a big round of applause from people in the chat. That's awesome.
Nothing agrees.
That's excellent. Thank you, Mr. Price. Appreciate
You're quite
that.
welcome. You're quite welcome.
We enjoy that when we see it on the auctions and you just all of a sudden on the blues and start singing this.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
God,
yeah.
I know that song. Keep
we
going.
It is great that it bugs the heck out of Paul, but like
I know it does. They're like, oh, please. I'm like,
strictly likes it though, you know.
Yeah.
And
So we need to actually record that whole little segment
yep.
and like strictly play that for Paul every time.
Yes.
we play the hair commercial for Paul. You know, Roman knows all about that. The Just for Men.
It'd be hilarious. It'd be brilliant.
And,
just play that every time Paul's the moderator.
Yeah,
awesome.
We do the Popeye cartoons, you know, with Popeye walking around because Paul is a sailor, you know, and potato peeler, and we love to do that. So,
oh, that was awesome. Thank you so much for that.
What books are you going to show here?
Well, who wants to start, gentlemen? Who wants to start?
I will.
I'll do it. Or Monty start. Monty got good stuff.
Go ahead, buddy.
Okay. Well, I've been digging through and I found some stuff that I hadn't seen in a long
DC.
time.
It's all DC.
Well, why not?
And none of it's DC. So let's get over here and see what Al Gore has to say. Here he is.
Al Gore.
Well, a lot of people probably hadn't seen these. These are some old Fooms, number 13. Foom.
Friends of Old Marvel.
Friends of Old Marvel. Number 18.
Wow.
And this one goes out to Deuce. I know how he likes Daredevil. This is a special, or Daredevil Defender. This is a special Defender Fooms issue.
Oh, damn. That's brilliant, brother. That's beautiful.
And then I picked up some books, which this is the only, I say modern, but these haven't been completely through intake yet. But there's a Spider-Man annual or Silver Surfer annual.
What?
Number two. Number 2.
Love it.
Then we got King Size Annual number 7 of Thor. Beautiful edition of Thor.
Brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
Then we got the
late 70s, mid 70s, or
that is 1978.
I thought so, yeah. Those are so cool.
Then we got 1973. We got the reprint of The Mighty Thor starring in Marvel Spectacular number 6.
Ah,
nice
little book. Then we got some reprints of Daredevil, which I love old Daredevil. Marvel Adventure featuring Daredevil number 2.
Nice.
Oh yeah, the Gladiator.
Sweet.
Marvel Adventures featuring Daredevil with Khazar number 3.
Nice.
Yeah.
Marvel Adventure featuring Daredevil number 4, which has Leapfrog.
Wow, why gonna tease me, Monty? These are brilliant. These are amazing. Awesome.
Marvel Adventure featuring Daredevil number 5. We got the guy that can make himself elevator legs.
That's from Daredevil 27, 6 or 7. I remember
Yeah.
that one well.
Yep.
Let me see. This is reprints of I didn't put it on back. Then we got Marvel Adventure featuring Daredevil, and this is number 6. So this is number 27, I guess, part 2.
That one had Spider-Man and
beautiful.
Yeah, there he is.
Then I've been after these for quite a while. These are reprints from Fantastic Four #2, Amazing Spider-Man #3, Tales to Astonish 36, Journey into Mystery 97.
Jesus.
This is Marvel Collector's Classic #1,
Oh
1965.
wow, that's really super cool. You really, really, really rarely see those.
These are hard to
have
find in
got
real
one of
good
those,
shape.
and they are
They're
hard,
really hard to come by.
because the spines, if you look on those, the spines they are glued on. The books
Yes.
are stapled and the spines are glued, so they're very
Yeah,
bad
those are tough to come by.
This
That's
is
great. That is a great book too. I mean, gosh,
That's
look
beautiful.
at that first Dr. Octopus.
That's beautiful.
These are FF reprints #3, Amazing Spider-Man #4, Tales to Astonish 37. And since you got #2, let's just throw in, or #1, let's throw in #2, 1960.
Oh my God, Monty, your beautiful collection. Oh my God, thank you.
And got a good Defender here that I've always liked to see, the Blob and Magneto and the Incredible Hulk with the Defenders, #16, Magneto.
Oh man, I still need that book.
Then going back to the time capsule of 1978, Fantastic Four King Size Annual good old number 13.
Nice.
Then we have reprints, and these don't reprint the exact book. They take different books out of the same category and put them together in here. This is from reprints from Tales to Astonish 86 and Tales to Astonish 79, Marvel Double Feature, #3.
Nice.
Reprints of Tales to Astonish 83 and Tales to Astonish 90. We got Marvel Double Feature #7.
Wow.
Get these out of the way. Marvel Double Feature again. We got Tales to Astonish 86 and 93. Marvel Double Feature #11, which is Tales to Astonish 87 and Tales to Astonish 94 in the Iron Man.
Aren't
There you
those tales of suspense?
No, they're Tales to, what did I say? Tales to Astonish? Tales of Suspense, my bad.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. Found these beauties, man alive. I've been looking for some of these. Marvel Feature presents Astonishing. We've been talking about this. Ant-Man #5.
Oh man, that is so cool. Egghead. I have that very book.
Nice.
Then we're going to the same book, Marvel Feature #6.
Yep.
And I think I got doubles of this because I think I showed this not too long ago. #7.
Wow.
Those are so cool.
#10.
No reprints in those.
No.
And then this is a reprint of a Golden Age book that I figured I'd pick up because I have #1 and #2 of this character in Golden Age. Marvel Super Action #4, and we got Marvel Boy.
I have that same issue from back in the day when I was a kid.
Now don't think I have seen that one. If I have, it's been a month of Sundays.
And again, my book is in no good condition at all, but I have that exact issue. I do.
And a lot of people like the supervillain team ups, and Edwin sure liked these two characters and everything, but I got it in a king sized or giant sized #1.
Yeah. I got that one from Mr. Price a while back.
that is a dandy book. And notice that is right after Namor, he used to just wear the trunks.
Yep.
Toward the end of his run of his book, they gave him a full outfit. And that's a special book where he changes outfits on that.
So if you have #1, you might as well get #2.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Nice.
And this really goes out to Edwin because he was talking, and maybe he can pull his out and we can show them off all at the same time on the same show. This goes out to Edwin.
Oh, yeah. Oh yes.
Oh,
Yeah, I can.
You know,
I can pull mine out.
I'd like to show both of us show them off on the same show,
right.
and very rarely you're going to see.
holy shit.
And you got to have the second appearance.
Mm-hmm.
Let me
I'm just
grab
saying.
mine.
Yep.
Monty, I hope you got a fire extinguisher near.
Look at the condition. The conditions was killing me. Look at the
That's
condition.
clean.
Unbelievable.
Unfucking believable. Like, again, of course, the two guys who got the best unbelievable Spidey books, of course,
Of course.
tonight.
And he
Not
did
even.
say,
Yeah.
he did say his first book he got was Journey into Mystery. So let's go ahead and show it.
Oh, shit. Monty just pulling out all the stuff.
Yeah, wait for Edwin to get
Monty
back
not
to
playing
CDs,
around
okay,
at
Monty?
all. Imagine that.
Yes.
Wait for Mr. Wait for Mr. Price to come back so you can
Monty
see them.
just crushing it. Imagine that.
Take that away. Take those away. Get back to the first one until he comes back. That one too. There we go. Stay there. There we go.
Damn. I mean, I've held one of those in like a 2.0. I held a 2.0 Amazing Fantasy 15 and a 2.0, and I was like super pumped that I held it in my hand. I was super pumped that I held it.
Exactly.
I held one. I don't
Well,
own
like
it,
I said,
but
I
held one in my
wouldn't
hand.
have pulled these. I wouldn't have pulled these out. He's a big Spider-Man fan, and he had hinted that he has these books. So I wanted to make a first on a show. Two people showing off.
So
Two
the value right there, Monty, which you just showed. What is it about?
I have no idea, dude.
You guys know
Hold on.
the value.
Well,
What the
again,
total value is.
blow them up again. Like, make it bigger. Make him bigger for that book.
All right, Mr. Price.
Looking like
Oh,
probably
wait.
5 or 6.
Mr. Price.
No,
Yeah.
more than 5 or
Okay,
6.
you gotta watch the screen now.
Ballpark.
Monty's
I don't know.
not a
I've never
surprise
seen
fan.
it.
That's probably a 8.
Wow. You get an 8.0 of a fucking Amazing Fantasy?
Yep.
That's a $15,000 book.
Oh, wait.
Minimum.
There.
Oh, shit. Here he goes.
All right, let me go. Let me go on the big camera. Here,
All right.
we're fixing.
Hold on,
Let me go.
hold on.
Switch back.
Okay, you clear it up. It's blurry. There we go.
All right. And there.
All right. Side to side, you're looking at like unbelievable. Like, what, 60 grand in comics right there?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Like 60 grand in comics in like 3 books.
200K.
There's-
More like 200K.
Dude, there's one on Harris right now.
Yep.
Okay. There's one on Harris right now.
Oh, he's got a graded one.
Yeah. 5.5.
Wow.
5.5 is still going to sell for what? 40
Yeah,
grand?
but I mean, like I said, Harley Yee and I went through this with a fine tooth comb. It has, I mean, look at the spine. I mean, it was, like I said, it's at least, it's a 6.5 or a 7.0. But like I said, I sent it to the wrong people at the wrong time. But let's not stop there. I got,
What do I
I'm looking at Harris right now.
2, and where's that?
Oh,
There's one of my favorite.
nice.
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Octopi. And you know what? Like I said, I've broken a lot of them out because you know what? I like to be able to open my books and look at them. And I don't like them hermetically sealed.
Yep. Wow.
Holy
Wow.
shit.
Oh, man. Me and him could go 1 through 10, and there would be a lot of doubles on them.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, forget it.
I'd have to go dig my other ones out, but they're in the house.
Look at that.
I just grabbed a handful, but I've had those for many decades.
Very nice.
I
A
wish
9.6 went for like
I'd
$3
never
million.
sent
An
that
8.0, what I guess could have been close to 1 mil.
Well, I'm looking at Heritage right now. A 6.5 is going for not. Okay, let's read the number 9. -000.00.
Oh,
So 96. Yeah, that's what a 6.5 is going for on Heritage right now.
Edwin, I wanted to show you this.
Edwin,
He said that was
here.
the first one right there.
I have
The
no
chip.
idea what I'm talking about.
Oh
Nice.
yeah, I love that.
I also have it in the golden record too.
That is a marvelous book to have.
These books were picked up in the 70s, very cheap, and they come from New York.
Mm-hmm.
Show
I think
your
that-
books, Monty, right now. Just show them in front of you while Edwin's sitting there with his collection. I can't. There we go.
Monty, just
Yeah,
again.
that's about 3 of the best Marvel books you can get.
Yep.
What is that?
Wow. Wow.
Well, the Amazing Fantasy by itself, if it's higher than this 6.0 here, it's way more than what they want for
Yeah,
that
they
6.0.
they go up a bunch per half grade. You're right.
Right.
So what?
I go back to what I said a while ago. I've graded a lot of books, and I am telling you, look at the staple on this thing. Look at the spine. Look at the corners.
Wow.
It's way more than a 5. I think it's way more than a 5.
No
That's
chipping.
in
Probably
my
an 8.5.
opinion.
No chipping whatsoever, and it's a 5.5.
Wow.
Probably a 7.0 at least. At least.
That one's coming out pretty soon anyway to go back to natural state. But now this one, I purchased this one a long time. See, this is the one that's got the small lettering on it.
Yep.
So these are much more accurately graded.
Wow. Yep.
I mean, it's still a nice looking 5.5. I think you got a 5.5 because there's a little. This cover is supposed to be really bright.
Yeah.
And, but I accept 5.5 on this one. This was no problem. But this was when they, like I said, when you find the small writing, these are older, and this is when they actually could grade books.
Right.
So there's not much difference at all in that book. And here's one that they claim is a 7.0. Do you see much difference? I mean, I just don't see don't see, it just depends on what day it got graded. And I don't know. That's why none of these other ones have gone. I'll tell you that. No, sir. This one, I've had this one since I was working at the sub base, and that's one of the prettiest copies of number 6 I have ever seen. Anywhere.
Yeah, look at the purple pop on that.
Yes.
That's a
cool.
beautiful copy I've ever seen too.
Very nice.
And everybody loves Dr. Doom. I mean, that was a great one to get. And, for years and years and years, this book wasn't worth diddly.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, boom.
Yep.
And it should have been worth it all along because this was a brand new story here, The Sinister Six. And it's all Ditko work, 1964.
Nice.
And like I said, they have the finding them with the spines still attached is hard, because they're just like I said, the pages are stapled all the way through and then the spines glued on. So, but
very cool. Oh my goodness, you guys. Does anybody want to come up with anything better than that? I don't think
I got Golden Age I can come up with.
I mean,
he just burned down the house.
Yeah.
I mean, between these two guys, there's almost nothing you can show.
Between those two, they could buy each of us a house. That's between them two.
Like 2 of these books, yeah, exactly. With 2 of these books, they could buy like a house and
I love it, you guys. I love it.
Mad profit.
So nice. So nice.
I mean, I can show stuff, but it's.
I'm so thrilled that I bought them when they were still affordable. I'll tell you.
Yeah, same way with me. I think that AF-15 Yeah, the AF-15 cost me about $350.
Nice.
I had one that got stolen at the store, and I replaced it, and it had already gone up about 10 times. You know, because the honest to goodness, the first AF-15 I bought in 1988 was
an 80 AF-15 sale I see was 3 years ago was 180K. Wow.
But
Yeah.
I bought a lower grade. I'm thinking it was about a 3.5 or 4. I bought it in Charleston from Chris Foss for $215.
Wow.
That was the first one I ever owned. And at that time, AF-15 and Amazing Spider-Man 1 were virtually the same price.
Right.
Yeah.
And but as I said, don't waste your time on hermetically sealing your books. You can't open this book.
Yeah, see, I'm running into that same deal, Edwin, with when I'm buying Golden Age. The only way I can buy them is after people grade them. I mean, I got a good collection of old Journey into Mystery books and Submariner books, Captain America stuff, and it's all graded.
Yeah.
Yep.
The only thing I can top with it is Golden Age books, and that's it. But that doesn't even top any of your guys' books.
Okay, it's history, dude, and it doesn't matter. That's what they
I
like.
know.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean,
dude, it's all good.
I mean, if we want to go into history,
Golden Age books are great because they had to survive. They had to survive, depending on how old they are.
Well, this one's from 1944 that I got in my hand now. So
there you go. My dad was in World War II, and the barracks were littered with those, and the people from home sent them books, and I mean they had big print runs, but they all got destroyed, and the ones that survived the polio epidemic in the early 50s. A lot of people thought that polio could be spread by touching.
Right. Yep.
So paper products went right out to the paper drives and into the fireplace. So
yeah, the paper drives were a big thing with books and everything. They'd pick them up because they used to make the cardboard that they sent overseas. They'd take them and cut them, shred them up, and repulp them, and they'd make cartons for sea rations out of comic books and papers and stuff to send overseas.
All right, who wants to go next? Jeff?
I'll go. Since I got it out already. Well, the tally ho, the tally ho 1.8 that Robert had a hand in getting the hold of for me. So
that was a birthday present.
Yeah. So that's kind of cool. And actually, Tim gave me a great idea since I'm not going to get rid of this one at all. So I was going to have Sarah and Mom sign on the slab. Yeah, that's not a bad idea because I'm not going to get rid of it. So yeah, so.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you get the history of all the family there. That's awesome.
Excellent.
Yeah, so I'm going back up March 4th with Jim since Jim couldn't go with us that time. So me and Jim are gonna go by ourselves.
Excellent.
So I'm taking Jim with me this time around. So that's gonna be the next time you guys see this one. It's gonna actually be signed by Sarah and Holly. So it's gonna be cool. Yep. And then another one from Frazetta's work. It's 1945, so it's right after this. He actually illustrated stuff in this one. So
he illustrated stuff in that one.
That's pretty darn light book for that age. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. He illustrated a bunch of stuff in this one. Yeah.
Frazetta did.
Yep. He illustrated a little cartoon called the Woodpecker in it. It's like a little. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Very cool.
I'll get gloves out in a few minutes, but I wanted to show. I know, ladies is gonna watch this later, and she's been loving this cover. So, Straight Arrow issue 3, and come to find out, Holly and Sarah's never seen this cover. So I showed them the cover, and they go, "Yeah, they've never seen it."
Wow. See, I like that cover too. That's a nice cover.
Yeah, but the funny thing was how Holly told me to point out Golden Age Frazetta. Look at the Indian's hands.
You're gonna have to hold it closer.
Yeah. His hands are really small, but the hands are like because Frazetta wasn't known for doing his anatomy. Like his anatomy was off. Like his feet and his hands were off. So if you notice, like certain things, if you look at the background, like if it's not, the hands are a little off. Like they're not. Yeah, because the hand doesn't look like a normal hand back there.
Right.
So she said, keep an eye out for hands and feet.
Didn't he do the Frankenstein one with where he's got the slender legs?
Yeah. So like I said, his anatomy is a little off.
Yeah, because that always bugged me. He's got big giant boots on, and he's Frankenstein was supposed to be like 6'8", 300 pounds or whatever.
Right.
And Frazetta draws him with those little legs.
Yeah, like Sarah and like Holly always say, he his anatomy was not the greatest. That's why his he made up for it with faces. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yep.
I like
people leaving. I guess we ought to tell them good night.
Yeah.
See you later, guys.
I like girls with small hands.
Well, the one thing I really like is I had got this Canadian fanzine and actually had Sarah and them sign it. I really like the signatures on it. They're really nice though.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you got that signed too?
Yep, I got that signed by them.
Cool. Very cool.
Yep. So that's one thing. And come to find out, the Canadian one didn't have no staples with it. So these things weren't stapled at all. So they were actually unstapled ones. That was kind of cool.
What is up, Rafast Comics?
Oh, and the Vampy one. I still got to sit now.
Of course
I do. Yeah. Yeah. So. Yeah, but I agree with a lot of you guys saying like the grading thing. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's But the only reason
people out there get pretty upset about when you talk about it, and these are a lot of people that have invested a lot of money, and a lot in,
and the only, like I said, the only reason I have the 3 issues graded is because you know what I mean. No arguments, you know what I mean. But so with people, if I try to, if I had to, if I needed money at the time, I know where the money's at at least.
Right. Good night, Chris. Carolina 26, buddy. Thank you for being
here.
Yeah, there's. I mean, everybody collect their own way. If they want to grade them, that's that's good.
Yeah.
If that makes them happy, that's wonderful.
Right.
It's just not for me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now I don't really grade much stuff, and I got one off that's going to be a year before I see it again, because it's a magazine.
Yeah. It's way too.
And the only reason I even sent it off was because Jusco was signing stuff, and it was one Jusco's first work.
Roman and Martin, do you have anything?
Oh, I've got plenty.
Mine's always really crisp. Look, you'll not see a better version.
That ain't a 10.0.
Nice. Are you reading?
The tablet's a 10.0.
Yeah, I'm reading Little Monsters.
Yep.
My reads at the minute are Little Monsters, and let me go back to my library.
How the boys? How's the honey?
They're good. They're good. And Time Before Time. It's getting really good.
Okay. Cool.
Time Before
Joe,
Time.
my money's on the Kansas City.
What else?
That's all. I've got some Strange Academy ratios coming from the US when they're actually printed. Well, they're probably printed now, but
all right. Real quick, Martin, is the British Mail on the normal run now? Is it working?
I think so.
Is it working? So if I ship something out there, I want to make sure it's getting to who I wanted to get to.
Everything's getting there. Don't worry.
Okay.
It's more a case of it if you're sending stuff to the US or foreign, it was all it all gone a bit wrong. So
exactly, Barbarian. Exactly. All right, Deuce.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Well, I dug these up. Imagine that.
See, I was looking for horror today and I couldn't find none.
Oh, now you're pulling at my heartstring, you butthead.
Oh, look at that weird hair.
I gotta send you guys a picture in the group chat with mom actually reading we're actually reading the ones I gave her.
Excellent, Jeff. I remember seeing it.
Yeah.
Rosetta's mom reading a book. She was reading.
Well, we're Sarah's mom, so it's Rosetta's daughter. Yeah.
Who was it?
Holly. It's Holly Rosetta. It's Sarah's mom. Yeah, it's Sarah's mom. Yep.
Boy, look at them boots on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. See,
got the skinny legs and the pirate boots.
Favorites that Deuce has shown. Him and I are big fans of these books. We love the horror genre.
Well, you guys aren't the only one. Sarah's mom's really into them because she grew up on those, like these and House of Mysteries. Yeah.
Well, y'all are getting me into them, but I just hadn't crossed over to DC to buy them.
Oh yeah, I love monster magazines too. I've
Me
got a long
too.
run of famous monsters of filmland.
Love it. I know. I see your shirt. I loved it.
Yeah.
No, the shirt you had in the pictures, you were wearing a famous monster shirt.
Yeah. That was always one of my favorite books.
Excellent.
I like a TV monster movie.
He lost a shoe.
So where'd you get these, Deuce?
I cannot reveal my sources.
I know. You never tell me, damn it. I'm always looking for these
Sometimes
damn
I
books.
tell you, sometimes I don't.
I know, but you know how much I want these. These
Well,
are
when you come down to Florida, I know a place that has a bunch of those. So yeah, I got you, Robert.
In October, buddy, I'm coming down there.
Yeah.
Jeff, I'll probably see you before he does. I'm just saying.
Well, he got plenty. So I'll share the wealth.
Are you close to Panama Beach?
Which one?
You?
Me? No. Yeah. I'm closer to Clearwater.
I don't know where that's at. I got a buddy that owns a trailer park that if I go down there, I'm gonna park my travel trailer there.
Hey,
how far is Panama Beach from where you're at?
I like that cover.
Not that far. I don't think it's that far. I'll check, but I don't think it's too far. But yeah, I'm closer to
Then the cat tries to come in.
Where is where is Clearwater in?
Wait, hold on.
St.
We're not done.
It's not that far.
I was thinking I had been through Clearwater.
Yeah.
Since Edwin's here, I'm gonna go and show off these again.
Nice.
Oh wow!
These are the pulps.
These are pulps. I love pulps.
These are the pulps. These are the old school pulps I picked up.
Robert, you're gonna love the guy. Yeah, you're gonna love the guy that we got. He's in the golden age too. He got pulps too. So.
Does he?
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
1954.
Beautiful.
These are old school pulps, and these actually hold up better than a lot of the comics because they're square back.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Where'd you find these?
I will never tell.
Dude, they're gorgeous. They're gorgeous.
Don't worry, Robert. I got when you come down in October. When you come down in October, we got a guy that has a storage unit filled with this type of stuff.
I have to ship them back to the house.
Yeah, I know.
These are on regular comic boards, but these are all pulps.
They're excellent condition.
They're really, really, really in amazing condition. I'm
looking
pretty
at
sure.
the condition. The condition is beautiful. Nice.
It's pretty shocking. These are mostly from the 50s or like mid 50s to early 60s.
Was he trying to pole dance on Mars or something?
Yeah, it looked like it.
Maybe.
Yep.
The Martian girls all bring his milk to the yard. I'm just saying.
Look, that's very good. That's a 40-cent book.
Yep. That was expensive back then.
Yes, it was.
Well, these are
There was a lot of reading material back then, though.
To get them to hold up like that, that's there's a 35 center.
Yeah, these are all solid. These are all solid pulps, and they're in great condition.
Yeah,
they really
look like it.
Deuce, You suck.
Yeah, well, I find what I find, and you can suck it too.
Yeah, I know. You know I love you, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, these are gorgeous.
Better be prepared, Robert, when you come down here, man.
Oh, I will.
You better have money to ship stuff back to.
Oh, I will.
Back home.
Don't worry, I will. Oh, I love this one here. I got this book. This one reminds me of The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of good Conan, there's a lot of good Conan stories in here.
Yeah, yes,
like
there is.
Original,
Those are awesome. Oh, did you see the Platinum Age that I bought the other night? You see the Platinum Age book I bought the other night?
I did not.
Yeah, there was a guy on. I think it was with Matty Freeze and Vedeka, Madhouse.
Nice.
There was a guy on there that sold a platinum, and I bought from him. It was nice.
I saw him.
It still had the string that was in the binding. Ooh, I like that. That was a redhead.
Yep.
Redheads all day long.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That is awesome. Epidemic on Venus.
Wouldn't that be
those books were really wordy. Oh my goodness. But the art painted covers were awesome.
Yeah, a lot of these books are in the time frame of the TV series Science Fiction Theater, which was
I remember that.
Absolutely marvelous.
I'm not quite done.
Turok, Son of Stone.
Don't show that to MT.
Wow. Look at that painted cover. Oh my goodness. Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Oh, check out that dinosaur.
I absolutely love dinosaur covers.
Yeah, me too. And I'll bet you can guess where I got these from, Edwin.
Did you get these from Edwin?
Yeah.
No, I got these from T-Pain.
Did you really?
Yes, I did.
Wow.
He knows I love my dinosaurs. He was like, wait, I got a lot for you. I was like, oh, hell yes.
I love the dinosaur. That was one of the things I liked about several of the Green Lantern issues. The early ones had dinosaurs on them.
Mm-hmm.
And
this is all early Turok stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And the prices do not reflect what I paid. I guarantee you that.
Wow. Awesome, buddy.
Old school 15-cent, 12-cent Turoks.
Nice. Love it.
Gold key.
And the thing is, nobody cares. I'm talking about the people who don't know what these are.
They have no idea. They have no clue.
Mm-mm.
No clue.
Oh, look at that.
Because my generation of people, my generation thinks it's a video game. They didn't even know it was a comic book.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, this video game was brilliant, but the old school, comics,
it's awesome. It's bringing back
all these old gold key,
right.
It's
now
bringing
it's got
back,
a Tyrannosaurus.
to the center of the earth. To me, Journey to the Center of the Earth, like big time. The old movie, Journey to the Center of the Earth.
Your stack's fixing to fall.
It's not going to fall.
I'm over here all nervous.
Oh my goodness, dude. When'd you pick these up? You didn't tell me about these.
Of course not.
No, of course not.
I have my secrets, man.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't even know.
And you're like, you son of a bitch.
T-Pain had these. Huh?
Wow.
T-Pain had these and traded these to me because he knew I wanted these.
This is like reverse Jenga.
Right.
Oh, that's a Whitman, right?
That is a Whitman.
Yep, that is a Whitman.
That's a Whitman. Yep.
Again, I have my connections. You have your connections. We do what we do, baby. We do what we do.
You awake?
I'm here.
Your turn.
Oh, y'all want me to show some books?
Yeah, buddy. Go ahead.
Show the goodies, Roman.
We do this every Saturday, Roman.
Right. That should not be surprised.
Ready?
All right.
It's okay, buddy.
Around here. You know, I like Emma Frost.
Oh yeah.
Ooh,
Absolutely.
baby.
Yeah, like
This is new stuff. These two are new, but I just got them because they were like,
oh,
match my Funko Pops.
nice. Okay, they came in the
Wait.
Funko Pop.
You have pops?
Just this TN.
All right, Roman. What pops do you have? I'm curious now.
Who popped you?
Vision, two Visions, one Moon Knight, one Luke Cage, two Daredevils, two Black Panthers, one Iron Fist, and one Electro.
Brady's doing very well.
All right.
I don't know why I bought this.
Well, I can see why.
Alex Ross. This was the book I was after. I missed out on the J. Scott Campbell, but I got the Alex Ross.
Oh, Xena.
Oh,
Yeah, I like Alex
Xena.
Ross one.
Xena. I got some action
Lucy.
figures of her.
Lucy.
Her and Gabrielle. Her and Gabrielle.
Just some Damian Wayne here.
Remember that?
Yep, the stuff on the hot list. No surprise that Roman got.
I just got
always
extra covers. I like crossovers from different comic books. So this old Malibu here, Dynamic Forces.
I always thought Gabrielle was hotter than Xena.
That's signed.
That's signed.
Yeah,
Yep.
Dynamic Forces.
All right.
Prime versus the Hulk, Malibu Comics. Got a little horror for myself.
Ooh.
Half angel, half human. Trying to save his mother from hell. Hell Shot.
Yeah, Hellshock is the shit.
Jay Lee
Wow.
out. So I said, since I got this for $1, I might as well go spend some money on the.
Dude, Hellshock, I have the whole series. They're dope. Yeah, hell yes.
1994.
Hellshock
It's
is
funny.
the
I haven't heard anything about this book. I don't even know what that is, Ron.
From
Jay Lee.
1994.
Jay
I
Lee.
showed y'all the Punisher book.
Is that
a
Jay
while
Lee?
back. So
Jay
here
Lee.
is the dynamic forces that Bernie Wrightson and Joe Jusko did together.
Oh, damn.
very nice.
Red-eyed Punisher.
Bernie Wrightson? Wow.
Just the X-Men book everybody's seen, 138.
Oh yeah.
Quality.
First appearance, I got the Team America set, so this is the first appearance of Team America.
Love it.
And it's blue. So it's a Mark Jewelers first appearance. It's a Mark Jewelers blue inside.
Nice.
All right.
Damien's Real first series, I got it, but I wanted 2 sets, so I found somebody else. Found them, I could finish them up.
Ooh.
I got a lot of Damien stuff people don't know.
Yep,
I could
yep,
finish
yep.
them up. So these were Damien, son of Batman.
Right.
Get some of the books from that. Picking up stuff from DC, so Justice Society. First Jesse Quick.
Nice.
This one here, New Gods, the second series, issue 17. First appearance of Darkseid's father.
Nice.
My action comics that I like in crossovers. This one had the Teen Titans and the Justice League in it. Another action comics I like in crossover, issue 553.
There you go.
Forgotten Heroes. So you see Animal Man in the front. I gotta check out the rest.
Okay.
I like it. Man.
We got here another action comic crossover. The Burns did this one, and it's right. You had the insert for the upcoming series, Man of Steel by Burns. You know, I'm working on all my Justice Leagues. So this is just a filler.
How far are you getting on your Justice League now?
You know, I'm doing 1 to 200, and I might do a few past 200. I think it's 193. My eyes are getting old.
Yeah.
Yeah, 193.
Yeah, 193. Yep.
193. One of my favorite groups that's villains is Royal Flush Gangs. This is one of their series. Only difference between this is a Mark Jeweler.
Nice.
Where are you getting these DC Mark Jewelers from?
Off of my comic shop if I need them. This year, I might go to a show later on this month, especially since I bought these books. So it's only one person I get autographs from. Arvell Jones, who's here from Detroit, went to high school here. The creator of Misty Knight. You know, he did all the suits for the Black Panther movies. This is one of his covers he did for All-Star Squadron.
Yep, I have that.
Yeah, and of course, that's the Mark Jeweler behind it. So he laughs because I haven't signed a regular
What color
version.
is it? You know what color it is?
I haven't signed a regular version. I haven't signed a Mark Jeweler version. So anything I have him sign, if they have a Mark Jeweler in it, I try to get it. Any of his first books, anything.
Gray Man, what's up, buddy?
Degenerate gambler, so I like to take long shots just to have something that nobody else has or thinking about. So, you know, I'm a degenerate gambler. I bought 2 of these.
Oh, I like that.
Strange Adventures, number 215.
Dead
It's
man.
the first appearance. I haven't opened these up, so I'm going to assume maybe this is the gentleman here. That's the first appearance of Sensei.
Look at that.
In the Society of Assassins. This is
Look at that green.
The Society of Assassins becomes what? League of Assassins.
League of Assassins.
Lots of green in that book.
Right? I needed this for my Avengers run.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Oh, yeah.
Ah, yes. Number Castle account Nefaria. Yep.
Is that Wally Wood or I can't remember who did that?
Is
I
it
don't know. I
a
didn't have
Don
a
Heck
13.
or
I
a
just
Dick
wanted to get
Ayers?
13 for a while. Nice 13 for a while. I wanted in my
No, I think Wally Wood did them in the 20s.
There's a lot of ladies that like in comics. Finally got a high grade of this lady's first appearance. Last book to show. Next to Elektra. I'm a Lady Shiva fan.
Nice, buddy.
Nice. That's a great book.
I'm a big Lady
Wow.
Shiva fan. So
All right.
Red and yellow
this is
go good together.
they call it an 8.5. I'm checking. I mean, I haven't opened it up. Sometimes I don't even open these books. I might open it up, just make the back book, and then just call it a day. It's not gonna get graded or anything.
Yeah.
Finally got a high grade one. Because I missed out on a high grade Mark Jeweler, and I'm pissed about it.
Ooh.
But that's it. That's all I got.
Awesome, buddy. Awesome. All right. So here we go.
Oh, and just to let you know,
Oh, hold on.
just to let you know, Deuce ain't got everybody food.
What?
Deuce ain't got everybody food with his little honey hole.
Ah.
Hey,
What are we talking?
catch me next week. Catch me
What?
next week.
Catch you next week.
Catch you next. They on the way. Deuce.
Hey, what? Why you gotta sell me some Daredevil, bro? What the fuck, man?
I'm talking about where you got those pulps and stuff from.
I think Roman has become a little honey bear, and he found your honey hole.
I mean, he sometimes yes, sometimes no. But again, I've got all kind of peeps down here. Like, I mean, you know, we do what we do, man. Like, I spent $350 at an antique
Roman,
mall.
we'll
man.
be talking, buddy. We'll be talking.
That Avengers 13 is by Kirby and Don Heck.
Heck.
Okay. There we go. What is this?
Roman, don't be
I'm
bad.
not showing dinosaurs. I can't show damn comics. I can show Lego.
Tell you the truth, I was bored and I was waiting. I don't know what I was waiting on, something to come on TV or something to do, whatever I was waiting on, and had the nerve to go on Whatnot. I never sat there and watched one guy's auction for over an hour.
Wow.
That's all I got to say. And I was buying books. And he started everything at $5.
Wow.
Nothing but golden age, silver age, bronze.
Wait, you talk about Whatnot?
Yep.
Send me his link.
I'm trying to find him now. I'm trying to look for him.
I want to know his
It's
name.
on-
I want to see it.
It's
Because
on
I'm always,
Whatnot.
I'm always
It's on
looking. Send me
Whatnot.
that link. I'm looking
trying-
like once.
I'm trying to find him back on Whatnot. I
Right.
thought I subscribed to him.
So my turn. I always go last. So here we go. Big shout out to Who Dat this I needed in my collection. It was issue 31, House of Secrets, 1960. Beautiful condition.
Oh, look at that.
Don't you
Wow.
love that
Very
cover?
happy. What's that?
That is
Don't you love that cover? That
Yeah, I
that
do.
was sharp, man.
I'm
So
telling you.
very happy about this. So big shout out to Hudat. Thank you very much, brother. Got that off one of his auctions.
1960, that's one of the wider books, too.
Yep, it is. And then a big shout out to Evan. Evan Sim Collectibles, his name is. There was an auction a couple weeks ago.
Evan Sims, yeah.
Oh, awesome, dude. I actually talked to him a couple times and we were talking, and he had a whole stack of Eries, and there was one that I have multiple copies of, but out of this, I was going through them, and I'm going to go backwards. I got 33 and then a couple mixed in and then all the way down to almost like number 1. But the cool thing is there's a Erie book in here. I remember when I was like 12 years old. I already told you about a book that I got from my uncle, but there was another book around the same time when I was like 12 when I read it, and I'm going to show you something what's really cool. So this is Erie number 33.
Erie didn't come out in 1918.
This is 1971. Yeah, it did. 1971. Larry Todd. And,
What's he standing on top of?
That is an ink. It's called an arc horn. Now, what's cool about this book, what's interesting in the story of this, now I know where the voyage home came from Star Trek. This book. It's almost identical in the story in this.
Is that right?
Yep, in this. Yep. So I know where Leonard Nimoy got the idea from. I always say when it comes to directors and certain creators out there, they come up with these ideas, and we've seen them multiple times. But I always wonder where they get the ideas from. And it had to be a book that they read when they were younger and they remember it because they brought it to the big screen. And it's almost identical.
Isn't that the episode on Star Trek where they had this big Thanksgiving horn that was coming at them? They was eating.
Yeah, there was one like that, but it was something totally different. This one I'm talking about this is about a satellite. And
okay. I know what you're talking about.
And it's coming back and it's going after the whales.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's talking about the Doomsday Machine.
Yeah, exactly. I know which one. Yep, I know which one Monty's talking about. Excuse me. This one's Erie, 1971. Richard Corbin.
Tilted a little. We're getting a big. Yeah, there you go, right there.
But these mags were excellent condition.
Man, that's one ugly dude.
Yeah, number 31. Another Dick Corbin.
Tilt it down.
Tilt it.
Right there.
Yeah, because it was getting your ring light. That's what it was.
Oh, look at that. They look like the Knox.
Yep. Number 30.
Tilt it.
Once again.
There you go. Yeah.
Go.
Sorry. Come on, light. I want you to be able to see it now. This is going to get a little more interesting. So number 29.
Mm-hmm.
This one, what was it? Hold on.
Oh, cool.
That one's a little rougher shape, but still very, very nice.
Still nice to have them.
Oh, yeah.
To have them, though.
But you saved it.
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
You saved it, like Monty said.
Number 28.
You saved it from the cruel world.
Yeah. It's not a Mylar, of course. It makes everything look pretty. Here's my 12-year-old, one of my books that I read. I wrote all over this because I remember this story pretty well. This was issue 27 from 1970. This is a childhood book when I started reading books. My uncle helped me read. And this, what's interesting about this is in page 17, there is a warrior princess named Amazonia. And it's kind of like an Amazonian queen, like Red Sonja, which I like as well. Also in this, there is the machine god slave. There's actually about a robot taking over the humans and basically taking over their entire civilization.
Well, that explains your redhead. That explains your redhead fetish.
Yeah. And then also, I was like 12 when I read this.
Like
Also,
I said,
there
it
is
explains your Amazonian women.
first appearance. This would be like the first appearance to me to introduction to Doctor Strange. There is a character in here that looks exactly like Doctor Strange, gray hair, everything. His name was Dr. LaRue that was in this book. And that was really interesting. Also, so there's that. Then we got issue 26. Move along here because we're kicking.
Oh, wow. Tilted.
Tilted.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Look at that yellow.
Yeah.
Makes it pop.
And then we're getting a little better. This one's in kind of rough shape, but I'm still great. This is Frank Frazetta. This one's issue 5.
Oh.
Art is by Frazetta.
Yep.
Also,
and,
the other
granddaughter did an homage. You know that, right?
What's interesting, yeah. What's interesting about these, though, when the lower numbers up to the higher numbers, Frazetta kind of disappears. And in these
I know why.
These lower number books, they literally had 13 different artists that did all the artwork on the inside. Like 13 different. You had Wally Wood in this, Jay Terrence, Rocco. excuse me. Alex Roth, Williams. You had Joe Orlando, Reed Carlo, Steve Ditko, all in this book.
Yep.
All those artists are in this book, which is pretty cool.
And even Frazetta did an interior story for a couple of them too.
And here's issue 3 from 1966. Frank
Frazetta.
A fat of the creature from the Black Lagoon there.
Yeah, a fat version of him.
Another cool.
No, that's the Black Lagoon's brother. You know that? That's his long lost brother. That's what it is.
Steve Ditko in here.
So it'd be the creature of the Blue Lagoon.
Alex Roth, John Service, all of those guys. And then it's got a couple chip outs in the top, but you know what? I'm not complaining. It's the collector's edition. And this one's number 2. Another cover art from Frazetta. Beautiful.
I've seen the original. I've seen this original.
On page 22, though, which is interesting, in page 22, there's a story in there called The Eye of the Beholder. And in that story, there's a woman. Now, the art is really weird because when you read the story, you see the art changing. It's and you know it's a different artist. One whole page, there's a woman standing there. She's got a robe like a towel behind her, and she's hugging a man. Even the man, and they try to make the same image in the other ones, does not look alike like all the rest of the art and all the whole story. And I know that's a Frazetta work.
Well, when I go back, I can have Mom open it. Yeah,
I've seen it. So anyway, so while I got all inspired, I wrote this little tiny poem. I want to see what you guys think. I call it eerie, kind of dreary. What is your monster's food? With ghouls and vampires and werewolves and witches, all in a killing mood. Yeah.
Oh, cool. I like that.
Oh, very nice.
So big shout out to everybody in the chat. I appreciate it, you guys. Everybody that's watching the show on the rewind, thank you so much. Please hit that like and subscribe. Now that we're rounding up on the show, let's get to Edwin here. Hold on. What do you got? The
homage to Frazetta's.
Look at that.
Sarah.
There we go.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love that book.
More dinosaurs.
Yeah. This was actually Sarah actually did this one, so that's kind of funny.
Very, very cool. I wonder where she got her inspiration from.
I know where she got it from. Grandpa. That's why I said she had a homage because the friend wanted her to do a homage.
Talking about grandpas, me and Edwin were talking about this, and this is kind of like a little important thing. We were talking about this privately, and the thing is, all of us gentlemen and ladies out there that have grandkids and all that good stuff, okay? When they come over to your house, like when my grandkids come over to my house, and they're all different ages. I know I'm going to sound like a mean grandpa, but I take their phones away and they go in a basket and they don't touch them until they leave my house. And when they're here, they go, "What are we going to do?" And I go, "Well, let's see. What can we do?" So I introduce them to comic books. I introduce them to reading, introduce them to things they can talk about and actually talk about and have a conversation. So if you don't want this hobby to die and you want your grandkids to remember something or remember you in any particular sense, and this is just advice, you can take it or leave it. I don't care what you think, but it's like, it's our responsibility to keep that passion growing for stories, original ideas, all that good stuff. And you got to show the younger generation something different, something they've never seen before. And they're kind of like, my grandkids are always surprised when they come over here. My granddaughter, my little granddaughter, she's like, gee, Pa, what is this? What is this? And I talk to her and read it to her and explain it to her. And she just, like, you can see the light bulb go off. I know we're so much into technology and in the phones, and you can look this up and look that up. No offense, Martin, I understand. No, I love you, buddy. But I'm just saying, if you don't want the generation of our generation to like die out, you got to teach it and show your passion to your family and that kind of thing. And some of them might not like it and some of them might, but they'll always remember that from their grandparents and their parents. They always remember those stories. And I did. And I've always kept that with me in my heart when it came to my uncle. And I had a hard time growing up as a kid. But when I was like, 9, 12, I had a hard time reading, and I have dyslexia. I still deal with it. But you keep moving forward. Don't let that ever stop you in any way. Always move forward with that. And it's like, those memories I always take with me. And some of these books I'll buy over and over again because it was something that meant something to me. So never let that go and always keep going. You know what I'm saying? So Edwin, please, Mr. Price, please tell the community what you're doing, what you got coming up, anything, what you're selling, you name it. I don't care what it is. You were wonderful tonight.
Okay, well, thank you. One thing I might admit, you jogged my memory on something everybody probably
it's all good.
knows. But you said you were talking about Star Trek, and I just got to thinking.
Love Star Trek.
Has everybody noticed that? I mean, for 50 years, the Star Trek run, the Gold Key run, especially #1, has just been lowball book, and over the past year, it must have gone up 10 times.
Yep. Yes, I've noticed it. Yep. Big time.
I really don't know what's driving that, but it is it's pretty impressive.
It is.
Hard, probably.
But I will. I usually do the standard week for me on auctioning is to do Strictly's on Sunday night and on Thursday night. And I do make occasional appearances on Madhouse and
yes,
Papa Wheelie's auction. As a matter of fact, before we started tonight, I was watching Papa's. I picked up some pretty good stuff over there.
Nice.
But I like to move around. I buy from everybody. I like to sell on the different shows too. But
Sure.
I'm a staple on Strictly's. And I did want to mention too, if anybody's in the Texas area or whatever, Strictly's putting on a big con right outside of Houston in Stafford, Texas, from March 31st to April 2nd. And Roy Thomas, in my opinion, will be the star of the show. He's going to be there on Saturday.
Wow.
Roy's 83 years old.
Yeah.
And, he's about he and John Romita Sr., who is 92, and I think Sal Buscema, who's in his 90s, and Steranko, who came in at the last. They're about the only ones left from the Marvel.
Wow.
And it would be an excellent time to see old Roy, because like I said, I think Roy's 82 or 83, and I don't know how much longer he'll be.
You know how many comics I've got from Roy Thomas that I enjoyed? That would be awesome to see him.
He doesn't get credit because under his guidance as editor-in-chief we saw the first Wolverine, we
Yep.
saw the first Punisher, and we saw the let's see, what was the other big one? Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider.
Motorcycle Ghost Rider. Roy's a friggin' genius, and so anyway, I would just say if you can get in that area, there's going to be a lot of other guests too. He's got Larry Hama coming. A lot of people are big fans of his, and so it'll be in Stafford, Texas, from March 31st to April 2nd, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm going to come down there myself. I want to see my buddies and check out that area. So I've got a stepson in Louisiana who's a doctor. I'm going to stop and see him too. But we're really looking forward to that. And you should see some more advertisement on it pretty soon. But we expect it to be a pretty big show. So if you got a chance, stop by. And
I wish. MegaCon's that weekend. Yeah.
And always come by Strictly's. Like I said, if you don't have time, come by and leave us a like or whatever. And we always try to have some fun on there. We're probably the most unorthodox auction that there is. We got some characters there, and we suffer a lot with Paul. So anyway, I appreciate it, and it has been a heck of a lot of fun tonight.
Awesome. I
have seen some beautiful books myself tonight, and I enjoyed sharing some time with you guys. And
I hope you had fun, Edwin. I really do,
yeah,
Mr. Price.
I'll be looking in when I'm up late on Saturday night from now. So
and you're welcome. You're welcome to come back anytime.
Okay, thank you.
And do me a favor. Every time you're on Strictly's auction and Paul's there, sing every single time.
Every time.
Please sing.
Tell him the G-Man said so and Deuce said so. But no, the Nerdy Collective said so. There we go.
We're always picking on Paul, and we love it when people like Roman come on and just gouge him too. It's just funny.
Paul is a special kind of animal.
He
Torture him every chance you get.
I like old Paul, but yeah, he is unique. There's no doubt about it. So
very cool.
Please and thank you.
Hang in there.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah, don't go anywhere just yet.
Okay.
Deuce?
Hey, I'll be here next week, buddy. Just let me know what's going on.
Thank you, buddy. You were awesome tonight. You're awesome tonight. Roman.
I'll be back next. Will I?
Hey, come back next week, of course. You know that, dude. Every
I'm
Saturday.
thinking, will I be back? Will I be capable of getting on the show? Let me think.
Don't worry, I'll send you a link.
Now, it's a big week for me, so
Yep, I always send the link early, so don't worry.
No, it's other things going on, but I see how I'm feeling Saturday night.
Okay.
All right. Wednesday is Uncle Roman's birthday, and his birthday party is Friday night. So.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
So, yeah,
Happy early birthday!
How old are you gonna be now?
Oh man, I'm passing money up. I'm 52.
You're still a baby, dude. Come on.
I wish I was 52.
A young.
Me too.
I'll be 52 on Wednesday. I'm having a all-you-can-drink birthday party on Friday.
Oh boy,
you drink all you can drink. You'll be passing me up, all right. You'll feel like 110 the next day.
It's funny to talk about age and stuff like that because this is a true story. It just won't take but 5 seconds. But my granddaughter, when she was like 6 years old, she asked me with the utmost, truth and honesty, and asked me, said, Paul, did they still have the little dinosaurs when you were a kid? So, she had seen some of these movies where they had, they had the little ones that, got together and
Right.
ate people, and then she figured that they didn't have the giant ones, or whatever. But she asked me that just with total faith.
See what I mean? See,
So,
and then she's gonna remember that.
Yeah, and I thought that was the greatest thing. The little dinosaurs. Yep, I guess they did.
Love it, Martin.
Obviously, I've got videos uploaded and they're all dispersing at random times. So if you want to look at them, look at them. If you don't worry.
Please look up Martin. Love you, buddy.
And if you want something to review, send it to me. I'll review it.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to be expensive.
Love you, buddy. Thank you. Jeff.
What's going on, guys? But I got a special interview coming up at the end of this month. I still got to reach out to Mike Royer, so that's gonna be happening soon. And then I'm gonna try to have something on my birthday with Royer and Sarah together. So I'm gonna try to get them both on the same stream. So I'm working on that, and then working on the Vampy stuff still. You know what I mean? Still reading up on stuff, so still working on it. So that's pretty much what I got going on. So I'll see you guys next week.
Thank you, buddy. Monty.
You were talking about when your grandkids come over?
Exactly.
When my grandkids come over, I usually tape oven mitts to their hands.
I thought he was going to say he put an outdoor in front of him, but okay.
I don't think it's cruel, but you just gotta
pretty good.
Gotta be precautious. I'll be back here next week, and what kind of surprises I'll bring, you never know. So if you don't show up, you won't see.
That's right.
And you won't see a lot of stuff because these guys have a lot of stuff, and you'll miss out on all our stuff.
There has been a lot of nice.
You learned something tonight. I hope you guys, especially about nuclear. What was it?
Fusion.
Engineering, exactly. Awesome. Thank you, buddy.
I learned a lot about what I can't afford.
What'd you say?
I learned a lot about what I can't afford.
That's right. Okay. So big shout out to the chat. Big shout out to my panelists tonight. Big shout out to Mr. Price. Edwin, I really appreciate you being here tonight. It was fantastic having you. Please come back. You're welcome back anytime. And everybody in the chat, all you guys, Roman, Martin, Deuce, Jeff, Monty, you guys rock. Couldn't do this without you. Love it. So thank you so much. Hope you guys had fun. And a big shout out to the next. We have, we're booked until March, the second weekend in March. And our next guest next week, our new guest for a Q&A is going to be Silver Knight Kyle. He's going to be on next week. Now, if you don't know who he is, check out his post on the bottom. I put everybody's posts or everybody's information is down there, including Edwin, so you know where to look him up on Instagram, know where to see him on his auctions that he's been doing. I post those links as well down there. So check out everything. I put that information down there for you guys to go check out everybody out. And Silver Kyle tonight, I could not believe I was watching this. I'm doing laundry and I get a notification on my phone. Push it.
You doing laundry?
Yeah, hair removal. He was having hair removal done on him. His wife.
Oh yeah.
Was using wax pads and ripping hair off his chest. I couldn't watch.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I couldn't watch. I was like, whoa. So Kyle is pretty brave. I'm like, oh my goodness. So we're having Kyle next week. And then in what is it? On the 25th, we got Jace. He's a huge video game player. That's one of Stay Puft's really good buddies, and I'm looking forward to having him on. He also buys.
That's Jason's brother.
Yeah, it's his brother. Exactly.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And he's going to be
What am I
with
saying?
his big video game collection.
Yeah.
And then we have Brian LCS on the 5th of March.
Okay.
He'll be on the show. And then in March again, we're going to have Evan. He's going to make an appearance as well. So,
Evan Shimko.
yes, he's going to be here. And
yeah, he's a good guy.
yeah, he is. He's a really good guy.
I bought a Hulk 3 from him recently.
Nice.
And he buys stuff from me too. He is and I tell you, the guy must be a hard worker because I know he's in college too.
Yep, exactly.
And I don't see how he can do the
back and forth. I know.
He does, but
yeah, Evan's quality dude. I buy
Yes,
stuff
he
from
is.
him all the time. Happened
Big
for a
time.
long time.
All right. So with that, it's the end of a wrap up and another Nerdy Collective. Wonderful. So
let me
there you
say
have
I
it.
enjoyed all you guys. It was great fun tonight. I came expecting to stay about an hour and a half, and now it's 4 hours, and I've enjoyed every minute of it.
Right.
I'm so happy. Thank you so much. And I'm glad you had a blast. Good. And all
Thank you,
the
Mr.
guys.
Jackal. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you very much. And I guess
Hang in
we're
there.
signing off.
All right. And thank you so much, community. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, check all the links down below. Thank you so much. Peace, love, blessed be. We'll see you next Saturday.